now you looking dumb. He wanna be just like Tron, but there's only one. You better go and buy some Tron, cause it's about to run. You better go and buy some Dash, cause it's about to slide. I don't even carry no cash, I'm the crypto guy. Yeah, and I'm the crypto guru. I saw your portfolio and it's looking boo-boo. You saw my portfolio and it look like voodoo. Nigga, you can't tell me shit, this ain't nothing I'm new to. Legendary like Mewtwo. Please don't try to rob me, I don't wanna shoot you. They wanna ride the money train like choo-choo. I'm the real crypto Hokage, look at my jutsu. Yeah, and I'm fucking snapping. I hopped in the Telegram, I'm the crypto captain. And you can't even sell a gram, that ain't really trapping. You ain't really got them coins, you just crypto capping. Huh, what I'ma buy today? If I buy one more coin, I just might fly away. Fuck, I can't get that coin on Coinbase, and they took it all changed now, I gotta find a way. Damn, yeah, let me try Binance, I just logged in, so let me hit my dance. I'ma have so much money that I can buy friends, and I got such good credit, now I can finance. I'm about to buy a mansion, I'm looking at these markets jump, fuck your diamonds dance. Bitcoin, digital gold, I don't need jewelry. You a noob, you on Robinhood, ain't no fooling me. Damn, so your coin's fake, and you only went and bought Doge, you a cornflake? It ain't never your birthday, I get more cake. And if this was Call of Duty, I get more crates. It's crypto, I'm the best at it.
Gamers don't really stay with one game forever. They move around.
Exactly.
So if they feel that they're creating value in a game and they get tired or bored of it, they can move to a different game, and that unlocks different value in a different game. That's kind of like how as a gamer, that's how I see it being interesting, because I just, the in-game assets are very unique
I
per
love
game.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Michael.
guess like I was just say, I think we talk a lot about the future, but like where are the games? Like we're talking about interoperability. Like we
Yes,
talk a lot
yes.
about picks and shovels. What about the content? Like that
Love
needs to
that,
come
Alex, yes.
before we actually get to this metaverse vision. It's like unless somebody builds a really fun piece of content, the picks and shovels don't really matter that much. Right? So I see a lot of investment going into picks and shovels, a lot of people talking about far off concepts of interoperability, but you actually need a game first or a set of games in order
Yes.
for interoperability to even matter.
It's a
So
great
that's
point.
why it's like
We have 2 minutes left. Michael, give me your 1 minute opinion on NFT, metaverse, blockchain, and esports.
Well, love esports, longtime gamer. I grew up in a nerdy computer group that we called the Lanarchists back in the days of local area networking. So it's been amazing watching gaming as an industry, as a streaming service, and as a method of consuming content outside of engaging in the gameplay. It's been amazing watching that emerge, and just like anecdotally, a bunch of my colleagues and friends that have kids. It's amazing to see how much time they'll spend watching other people play games versus playing games, which we never would have thought of doing as kids. But I mean, this is kind of the next generation, and definitely, it's great seeing esports come into its own as an industry.
David, we're going to wrap this up with you. Give me your 1 minute opinion.
All right, so I'll touch on two main points here. The first is that now esports players, when they're training to become the best, they can actually monetize some of that trading and get rewarded for that. So that's like one thing that Web2 was lacking. But then also there's the NFT side. So I'm seeing a huge part of NFT collectibles for esports players, where you don't really see people sporting esports players' jerseys online. In person. That's just because gamers, we like digital assets. And I definitely see people sporting these esports NFT collectibles of their favorite esports players in the metaverse, in their houses, so on and so forth. And then also just moments, right? You think of like the Faker versus Ryu, Zed versus Zed moment, or the Merlini Zeus. The Merlini Zeus 1v3 moment. Those type of moments are also things that can be put into NFTs. And I think those are things that, as gamers, we would want to collect.
So, all right, I gotta cut you off, David. We're gonna get out of here, but thank you guys so much for coming. I mean, what an amazing panel. My name is Kevin Itt, and for Ash and everybody here on the panel and everybody at Pro League, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll do this again. Thank you so much, guys. We'll
a job. I don't know.
Yeah, metaverse builders are going to make bank at some point here soon. I mean, some of them already are, but there's people who can do crazy things in Minecraft, and there are multiple teams building on Minecraft.
I build Roblox games, and so I pay my developers for a whole month. I mean, they're happy if I give them 1,000 Robux. Well, 1,000 Robux in America is $10. 1,000 Robux in the Philippines is still $10, but $10 does not equal that. That's one of these guys. He gets paid $65. His dad gets paid $65 a month, and he's living pretty medium class. So all of a sudden, you have the ability to, one, if you know where these guys are, Roblox developers, Minecraft developers, any of those guys are used to getting paid like in the digital currency that is on those platforms. So if you go into those groups and say, hey, I'm looking for a designer, well, guess what? Those guys they'll take a Roblox card, and a coffee, you know what I mean? And they're like, dude, I'm the highest paid guy in Philippines. And so you can pull from those other things that never got paid right? Those video game developers, designers, they never got paid for what they're worth. However, now with the metaverse, you attach it to Polygon or Ethereum or Matic. Well, that's a $1 million mansion. What? Like, no, that used to be free in Sims. What? Come on.
No, that's what's so amazing about this whole concept of the metaverse and just these open, connected worlds, and ultimately the interoperability of the collections and the brands that are being built, right? Like the ultimate thing is going to be to have an item from Yoshi Drops or from any collection, and to be able to take it to this place over here in Decentraland, this place over here in the Sandbox, this place over here in my personal gallery, just whatever new world pops up, that's what people are going to want. Does my brand have a presence there? Does my NFT have value in multiple places?
So my next question with these galleries is can I put any wallet on there, or is it just Ethereum?
I think it connects to like 4 right now. I think like Polygon. Yeah, I don't know if Wax is on there. Like I said, I discovered it yesterday, and I put 20 minutes into it, and then it's magically up. So I've left the website. I'm not building anymore, you know, and it connected. But so I mean, like, I think there's like 4 right now. There, I know. Here's the cool thing: everybody has a Discord now, and most of the time you can talk directly to developers, and so the squeaky wheel gets the oil, you know. And so if you're over there screaming, "Put Wax on, put Wax on," you know, like, then they're going to put Wax up there, you know. And so like you could literally just send the developer a message and say, hey, like, you can do that here in this world now, you know. And so I mean, like, even if they're a JPEG picture of a monkey, you know, like, they're still somebody's able to get like talk to them, you know. And so I think that's the difference. So I mean, like, if Wax is something that's a deal breaker for you, well, then message them every single day for a week, and then I'm sure within 2 weeks you'll have it.
Okay, I'm seeing what kind of wallets they have here. They have MetaMask, Coinbase Mobile Wallet Connect, which is Trust, Fortmatic, Tezos, Phantom, Nifty Gateway, Bitski. I'm not sure if any of those wallets actually are Wax friendly.
Yeah, so that part you're just going to be connecting to sign a message. So that's just like, do you own this wallet? Yes or no? And then it pulls the information of your NFTs of what's inside your wallet. And so that part, but then once you get to that and you verify your wallet, then it actually has a drop down of 4 items right now, which is the networks. I know Ethereum is one of them. I know Polygon Matic is another. And then I know there was 2 other ones that I don't have any personal on those networks. So, but I do have one on the Wax network. I have a Hot Wheel. And so I got one of the Hot Wheel drops from one of these guys on Wax on Twitter the other day. So I didn't see my Hot Wheel. Otherwise, I would definitely have put my Hot Wheel on there because my Hot Wheel's dope.
Dude, Hot Wheels are dope. I just recently, this is like way off topic, but I sorted my kid's entire collection of Hot Wheels. Hot damn, man. We got some Hot Wheels here.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I want to see.
Hot Wheels are awesome. It was really cool seeing them pop up on the blockchain. So they put out a collection recently on Wax. Pretty cheap to get right now. I think still you can get them for like $1 or $2 a piece.
Oh man,
And
I gotta get some.
you
of
could
those.
set up a wallet for your kid with his email address. Again, that's the beauty of Wax. Wax Cloud Wallet, completely free. You know, you can use basic stuff and get on there and with a few dollars get him some Hot Wheels.
Dude, what? I'm doing that right now.
I do like the Wax network. It is probably the cleanest looking thing. But what's up, Lonely? Love you.
Yeah, the hand's going up just because I'm with my son, and my mind is kind of like in 2 places right now. I need a balance, but I wanted to say one thing that kind of excites me about the gallery situation is that it doesn't really need to be just a gallery within Web3. Obviously, like, I've been thinking about how to develop some sort of venue hybrid gallery that could even potentially have some sort of virtual, you know, basketball court, or like just kind of fun things which are made with 3D models that people can interact with, you know. I remember going to the Nyan Cat opening in Decentraland, and they had one area that you had to like actually you had to actually walk to get the POAP, and it kind of teleported you into these different areas. And I feel like having a gallery is kind of like the main section, or potentially the B side to what could be a venue if you're trying to develop something with music. That's something which I feel like you could create, you know, a whole bunch of immersion for people, not only by just showing your collection and showing how like proud you are of owning like a Bored Ape or whatever, but giving them like an experience with an actual metaverse artist as well, you know. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in before I bounce.
Yeah, I'm into that for sure. I mean, Uplift has done some of that. I know they've had interactive things like boat races and, you know, scavenger hunts. I don't know if they've done basketball, but I'm sure it could be built. It's Minecraft.
See. But yeah, appreciate you coming up, Lowly. It's always a great time having you up here. Even at this crazy early time for you. But yeah, man, enjoy your day. Enjoy your night, actually, since it's still night over there. And we'll see you again soon.
Thank you, man. It's 6 a.m. now, and you can probably hear the boy in the background making noises. So we're going to go to a farmer's market now and get some stuff. But yeah, we'll see you guys soon.
See you, man.
See you, dude. Man, these Aussies are savages, dude. They live a different life. I don't know about this whole like getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning thing. But yeah.
Well, there are larks and there are night owls, right? We're not all the same. I've never been able to do a morning thing. I've been getting closer to it now as I'm getting a little older, but it's still a struggle. The mornings for me every day.
Yeah, on the flip side, I wake up. I love waking up at 4 in the morning before everybody wakes up, and everybody in my house, they stay up until like 2 in the morning, and so like it's like night shift, day shift, and I mean it's the only time I can get work done, you know. Like otherwise, I wake up and everyone's freaking around, asking me for stuff, wanting to make food, you know. So like I just wake up at 4 in the morning, and it's like it's peaceful for like 4 hours.
Yeah, man. I would love to be on that schedule. I've done overnight jobs. It's easier for me to do the 2, 3, 4. I used to work an overnight position at an Amazon warehouse, which was literally 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. That was a little crazy, but still easier for me than getting up early somehow.
All right. So I know we said that we wanted to do some. We got a little out of. We got really invested into that conversation, but I know there were some musicians up here that wanted to perform tonight or perform this morning. So let's go ahead and jump over to them really quick. Jay Crypto, do you still want to do something? I know you jumped onto the listeners area.
I'm ready to go if we can just get him up as a speaker.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to hear some beats. Heck yeah.
All right, here we go. Yeah, I'm constantly fighting with the audio quality on these spaces, so I pinned the full demos up at the top if you guys are interested in checking them out. There's 7 of them. I feel like my music really needs to be played live, and just because it's rock music, that's just where it's experienced the best.
His music is pretty fire, guys.
Yeah, that was sick.
That was badass, dude.
Thank you guys. I appreciate
I
it.
loved the middle when you started slowing down a little bit and it just started like really vibing really. So I thought that was pretty sick. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, totally. That was I was about to say that the bass work on that song was awesome.
Yeah, the bass work was pretty sick.
I appreciate that. I'm actually talking to some people at Yoshi to figure something out, so stay tuned.
Sweet. Let's see. Aurora. This is Commander, by the way. I'm not sure if you know this is me, but hi. Hello.
Hey, Commander, good to see you and here to support Yoshi Drops. I'm excited to learn more and hello everybody. So good to see everyone.
Aurora, do you actually have any NFTs out there right now?
They are cooking, Commander.
They're cooking.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Ooh. So can you give us a little taste of what it is that we might be getting into soon?
Yeah, absolutely. So, just for context, I'm a violinist. My day job is I play with symphony orchestras in the US and Germany, and I moonlight as a Web3 creator. And I've been such a huge fan of Commander and all his work and all the amazing thing he does. Yeah, so I've been learning a lot from my colleagues in the space, and I got very inspired to create my own project that is based on compositions that are of my own making and writing. And I'm from the Bronx in New York City, so it's going to be a project that really shines a beautiful light on the scenes from my childhood. And it also incorporates a lot of different Web3 elements and culture, because I think that, we're all, when we are a part of this space, we bring our own individual flavor to things. And it's so cool that we can all unite here as like minded people and share this beautiful space together. So, to wrap it up, it's going to be an ode to not only my roots, but also to the Web3 space. So I can't wait to share it with you guys. But as you know, anything worth creating takes time. But I am happy that it's in the process of execution. So I cannot wait to show everybody. And thank you, Commander, for Miss Yoshi Drops. I'm sorry for giving me the chance to share. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm Yoshi Drops today. I have, as my alter ego. Thanks. don't what's it called? Dox me. But yeah.
Really, Commander, you're the community manager for Yoshi Drops?
Yeah, I'm the social media guy for Yoshi Drops.
Dude, this is huge. Sorry, man, I couldn't make out your voice, and I'm normally really good at voices. Holy cow. Congrats, man.
Yeah, I've been with these guys for about 5 months now. Yeah, 5 months.
Nice.
Yeah, very lovely people. These guys are awesome.
Yeah, great gig.
Very, very talented. Yoshi Kondo is actually is inside the listener section right now. He's a big deal in the music industry, and I'm very happy to work with him on this project and all the other really wonderful people that I work with. My VP of marketing is super nice, and we have like a lot of huge things kind of happening in the background that are definitely going to put us on the map 100%, that are going to make us one of the top. Well, I mean, it's a little biased to say this, but we are one of the top platforms in blockchain right now, just because of how much stuff we have already pretty much completed. Our roadmap is just getting our roadmap is basically, you know, everything on a roadmap is just getting done, you know, and that's the important thing about having a project like this is just making sure that everything is getting done. So we have an app on the way that's a lot like iTunes. I like to say it's a lot like iTunes, but I'm sure it could be explained differently by like Yoshi Kondo or something like that. But you can have like all your music NFTs in one place, and it's really nice. And then you know, we just got done selling out a massive project with Loli, and now we're working on the next steps. And for those that don't know what Yoshi Drops is, we are basically a curated platform where we handle the art, we handle the background, the back end and the front end development for you, the smart contract, the web dev. We handle everything for the artist, and all the artist has to, and all the musician has to do is hand over some music to us, and we do the rest, and we make sure that it's to the specifications, like the artist to the specifications of the artist. And we have a lot of talented people on this team.
Started designing, I think like 2016 for yeah, I'm doing a bit of illustrations too, but I didn't majorly focus on digital art because I mean it wasn't my major focus. I did that until early last year when I started doing digital art, and I think it was a smooth transition for me because I mean I've been doing like illustrations for a while, so it was easy for me to like transition. Moving on to my piece. So the thing is, I'm actually just relatively new to the NFT space because I've been following through. I think since about October last year, but I really did not meet anything because I felt like the right thing to do was to actually like go into spaces and learn a lot and join communities and do all of that before you actually like meet. Yeah, I finally minted my first my Genesis collection today, and I'm really so excited because I'm looking forward to this moment of meeting my stuff and also like coming to spaces to share because all the while I've always been coming to spaces to actually just talk about my work in progress and all that. But yeah, this is actually like my first time coming here to share, and I'm excited. So my piece, my collection, which is titled the Forgotten series, actually yeah, the Forgotten series actually if you dissect that, is actually the Afro goddess. So Forgotten is like saying Afro goddess. So I just fused the two together to actually make it like Forgotten. Yeah, it's actually it's pinned in this spaces. You can check it out. So basically, I was just trying to celebrate black women basically, and black goddess. I mean, like I don't think like majority of us here actually like white. I mean, we have like just a few Africans here, but I have this thing for black culture. I have this thing for black excellence and all of that. Major specifically Africans, and so I have this piece that basically talks about what black women go through, what African women basically go through in Africa, because like there's been a lot that I've been going through like recently, um, with them just getting married like at a very young age, doing a lot of things to them. Yeah, majority of those things are actually like not really good for black women, and like it's been a problem. So I've just decided to like put all my emotions into a collection. I have about 8 pieces of them, and all they're actually like one of one. You can check them out, and yeah, I would also appreciate like retweets. You can retweet my tweets. I would really appreciate that. And if you like them, you can also pick one or two of them. Yeah, but yeah, I'm really excited majorly to like drop this, and I can't wait for how this will turn out. Thank you very much.
There we go. Sorry, guys. I'm just quickly trying to work out something. James, are you there, bud?
Yes, I'm here.
Sorry, not you, GD. I'm talking to the host, Mr. Gorilla himself.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
It seems that Como is struggling to get up. I don't know if we could maybe invite him back or something like that.
Yeah, I see there's some type of technical issue going on there. Not sure what's going on, but for some reason he can't join the space again. So I'm trying to sort it out right now.
Okay, no worries. I'll also be trying to working on that. If no one has any, sorry, Mr. GD, are you still sharing your project? Sorry, I interrupted you there.
Oh no, I actually just pinned it to this space, so you can check it out. Anyone that wants to pick or anyone that wants to retweet can check it out for me. Thank you.
Obviously, I'm speaking to the mic with a mute on. Hello. Lekker clever. Sorry, guys, I was speaking with my mic muted. I said if no one has any questions for Mr. GD, we would like to continue with the space. And Artland, you're up next.
Yeah, really appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk. So yeah, I'd love to tell you all a bit about Artland. It's our new NFT project, going to eventually be a metaverse. So yeah, I guess to get started, Artland is going to be an eye-popping virtual world for NFT flippers to show off their NFT galleries to the world. In Artland, there are 10,000 plots of land, and those plots get to form 20 unique neighborhoods. So you basically get to claim your plot of land, link it to your OpenSea, select a display image, can be your favorite NFT, for instance, and then your gallery is ready to show off to the world. So really what we're going for with the Artland map is an engaging, dynamic collage of pictures that delivers a totally new way to explore NFT art. So you can, scan the map for an instant overview of the entire NFT scene, and then you can zoom into the different neighborhoods and follow neighborhood feeds for more localized NFT trends. You can select any image on the map to open a gallery and just dive in and discover new NFTs. The core behind Artland really is that each of the 20 neighborhoods are going to be competing with each other. They're trying to see who can have the highest NFT transaction volume. So all the residents of each neighborhood collaborate to try to have the most NFT transactions, which we just draw from blockchain data. And as in real life, the top neighborhoods command higher land prices. So you and your fellow neighbors can appreciate the value of your lands and your NFTs in your neighborhood. And the idea would be that neighbors naturally buy local. So they try to push up their ranking and their land value. Neighbors can, of course, work together in a bunch of other ways. They can coordinate their display icons to create really cool visuals on the map, and they can even, buy up borderlands together and expand their presence. And, like I said, the end goal behind Artland is going to be a metaverse. So, all throughout 2022, our development team is going to be rolling out functionality to really just take it from a map to more of an immersive 3D world. And I guess finally we have some other great perks in terms of new NFT projects can use Artland for whitelist distribution and to kind of create buzz and hype around their projects. And then lastly, we'll be burying treasure throughout the map, valued at between 10 and 50 ETH. And if you happen to buy a plot of land with treasure, you win that ETH. And that's pretty much the overview. And I'd just love any feedback or thoughts if anybody has any ideas.
Yosh, I've got a quick question for you.
Sure.
What is the price of your NFTs, and for your metaverse, would you have to require the NFT to access the metaverse, or would it be open to anyone just to come and explore it?
Yeah, good question. So when we, first launch the map, which will probably be in about a month, we're going to have, pretty reasonable floor price, probably close to, 0.2, 0.3 ETH. For Metaverse land, it's, pretty reasonable. And then in terms of the NFTs themselves, no, they don't necessarily have to be for the Metaverse. They can be anything you'd like to show off to the world.
Awesome, but that sounds interesting. I don't know if any of the speakers have a question about the metaverse and all those lovely things that Mr. Artland is talking about.
Artland, I would just want to add in, dude, I like the idea, and I'm definitely dropping a follow, brother.
I really appreciate it. Like, is there a part of it that you like the most? Like, anything you think we should focus more on?
That last part, you sold me with that last part. So I think you sealed the deal in your pitch right there.
Okay, the treasure hunt part, you're saying? Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Um,
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I'm dealing with my 5-month-old as well. Can you tell me again, how do you access the metaverse portion?
Yeah. So it's gonna start off as a map, so you can kind of think about it as just kind of a map where there are different like pixels of land, so to speak. And then over time, people who own the land are going to be able to create 3D versions of their NFTs using 3D artists. And then from there, we're going to make it into a metaverse. So the idea would be you would land in Artland and see sort of a 2D map, and then you'd be able to zoom in to 3D versions of those NFTs. So you can kind of picture it like Apple Maps, how they recently started like showing you 3D maps when you zoom in. That's kind of how we're viewing it. Did that answer the question?
Yep, and that makes a lot more sense. I mean, yeah, no, I was just curious about how you were planning to do that. That's all.
Yeah.
And then another question I've got for you: will the metaverse, the land part of it, would it be in different sizes, or would it be a standard size right across?
Well, what do you think makes the most sense? That's actually, one of the things we're trying to figure out right now.
So the way I would figure it is that the smaller portions of land would be more affordable, and then obviously as you reach the bigger pieces where events and those type of things could be hosted, that would be like the higher range of the project and the funds coming in.
Okay, so you'd want to be able to get in for a more affordable rate with smaller lands. That's basically what you're saying?
Yeah, because why I'm saying this is, remember, like for some people, it's still difficult to access even just the NFTs that cost literally close to nothing. So with the metaverse, it's a whole different ballpark, and for to be accessible by 99.9% of the community and everyone combined, it would make it more interacting and more exposure. And then once they reach the level where they could purchase the bigger.
I actually know him. Let me text him. And so I think I connected you guys there, and you guys hit it off. And I'll let Jacob and D and Jeff, you guys should talk about everything that happened there. But it's an interesting thing where the universe actually will like tighten up and create a spiral that actually just like connects the right people out of the billions of people that are out there that are thinking about this stuff. And I think Jeff getting red pilled on Web3 took some time. I think he was skeptical, and then he jumped in and kind of really crushed it. So I'm really proud of everyone on this call. I think everyone here is building good things, and I want to talk more about Zora, but
well,
that is the story.
Thanks, Steve. I mean, on this show, I always try to bring an interesting cohort of people, and I think for the listeners out there, you're getting a really special treat, because when can you speak with somebody who is an investor in something that then employed somebody that then started their own company out of that employment, and then a collaborator of that startup is all together on one show right now. So if you've got questions about investing or startup or entrepreneurialism or creator culture, like, everyone is here for you. We got you all covered here. But Jacob and D, I want to throw it back to you guys. And I ask this question to almost every guest that's on the show, right? Like, do your parents know what you do?
I got him into crypto. Engineer that was playing around with cryptography, like playing with, like was programming crazy stuff on like computers that had the I'll be like, no, that's not right. And then 2 years later, I have to go like, God damn it, you were right on this.
That's sick.
And then my mom, she gets it too. She has an NFT now. Like she's not technical.
She has an NFT now.
It was easier. The earlier version of Zora was easier because I could just say, oh, we sell sneakers. But now it's like, oh, these are all like purely virtual JPEGs and virtual land and, on-chain SVGs and stuff like that. That gets a little harder, but
how about you, D? Do your parents get it?
Yeah, my mom would like to think she gets it. She talks like she gets it because she's so passionate about Zora, but I think she's just like, I don't get why these pictures are selling for all this money. Like it just doesn't make all that much sense. My dad, on the other hand, he's in a unique spot. So like he's a pretty like influential person in his own right. And so he comes to me from the like, yo, I'm getting these NFT deals, dog. Like, how do I navigate this space? And I'm kind of like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, man, like they want me to do X, Y, Z. And so it winds up being like a different flavor of conversation with him. I think it's very like exploratory and he's intrigued. But yeah, they definitely don't get it at at like a technological level or anything like that.
If you're sitting on a plane with someone and it's like a complete like just noob, doesn't own an NFT, doesn't have any crypto, how do you explain succinctly Zora to them in layman's terms?
That's a great question. I just start with saying we're creating a marketplace. So it's like it's a way for people to buy and sell NFTs. It's a protocol, right? It's like that's a word that gets thrown around, but what does that mean? But it's kind of like in the same way that if we think about Web 2 or even Web 1, it's like we have these things like HTTP for like websites and passing information around, or SMTP, which is what email is built on. Like we want to create a fundamental piece of infrastructure that allows anyone to create their own marketplace. So instead of, everyone going to a single website and having to go to one place, it's like, well, what if there are millions of websites, kind of like Shopify to Amazon, where it's like, okay, here's how you can go from zero to marketplace as quickly as possible, but also get these very special superpowers that come from a protocol, which means that you kind of like, you get the benefit of shared infrastructure. So instead of like, oh, you start your own website and you list an NFT and no one really knows that the market exists, when you build it on a shared protocol like this, every website has access to the market of every other website, which is like kind of a mind-blowing concept that comes from crypto. But what it means is that, if the Stapleverse, if the NFTs are listed using Zora under the hood, myself as a curator can point to it, or Coinbase could point to that market, or OpenSea, or many different competing marketplaces have access to the same market instead of it being a single website per marketplace. Which is something you can only really do in crypto.
That's a really shift in the way of thinking, especially for creators, because traditionally all throughout time and history, if you created something, there was like this sort of gatekeeper model where like I created something, now I need these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whether they're stores, retail markets, platforms, editors, I need them to bless this for me to make it, right? But now you're trying to break that whole model.
Exactly, and give you the superpowers of like saying you are an Amazon. So because you don't have to trade off now. It's like, so say we're going from like a one marketplace world right now where it's like we have something like OpenSea, which is synonymous with the crypto market, but now with something like Coinbase NFT entering in the market, it's like, oh wait, there's now 2 websites I can go to. And the current mental model that people had is like, oh, well, the one price that's on Coinbase is only on Coinbase. It's not showing up on the other website. But if there's a protocol powering that under the hood, the price that shows up on Coinbase can show up on your blog and or someone writing about it in Hypebeast pointing to it, someone building their own, like putting on a Tumblr or whatever. It's like these prices can start showing up everywhere instead of on single sites, which is like, that is an explicit superpower that you can only do with crypto protocols. And it's something that sounds so simple, but like when you really start to comprehend the power of it, it's like, it's pretty mind blowing.
What does that mean for the creator? What's that mean for that person?
Yeah, so it means that they can now create their own experience for their drops and their own storefronts. Like we're kind of heading back into this MySpace or Tumblr era where it's now possible for you to curate anything you're finding in the NFT ecosystem. And it's like when you see an NFT on an independent creator's website, you can buy it on the spot without having to get kicked to a different website to do it. So instead of having to press like view on OpenSea or view on Rarible, view on Coinbase NFT, you can actually just buy it right on the spot in that website. And all of the hard with Coinbase entering the market, it's actually pushing us into that world because we don't want to see fragmented markets. We want to see unified markets that can have their own unique and diverse experiences and interfaces. So for a creator, that means you can have your own storefront and customize it as much as you want, but get the power of that liquidity and marketplace under the hood, which is pretty cool.
Positive note, you could also call them curators, right? Like a department store is a curator. Amazon is even somewhat curating what you're seeing, right? So if what you're saying is going to happen and everyone is their own Amazon now, essentially, what's the role of the curator now?
The role of the curator is even more important because now everyone has access to everything. So now it's like, right. So for example, like there's a Web2 analogy here where it's like, no one else can build on top of TikTok. Like TikTok has a monopoly on the feed. So it's very hard for you to construct your own app or experience on top of it. NFTs means that it's like, imagine if everyone had access to like the TikTok database, so now people could curate their own feeds. So with NFTs, it's like, okay, we now have something like 30 or 40 million different NFTs on Ethereum alone. Now curation becomes really powerful because you want to look to people to contextualize and organize and like, filter and kind of show you like, well, these are valuable and here's why I think it is, like, and point to it. So curation is inherently valuable. And there are even things that, like, say, we've built into the Zora protocol that explicitly reward a curator in the form of a finder's fee. So a simple way to think about this is imagine you have a single auction running and there's 100 websites. It's like Hypebeast is pointing to it, Sotheby's, Coinbase, some kid who's posting it on Twitter. Whoever finds the winning bidder gets paid the finder's fee. With all they had to do was point to it, and if they've found the winning, the person who placed the bid, they will earn that reward as a curator. So it's like, imagine if you were reblogging something on Tumblr super early, instead of just getting, the clout and the cachet, you've actually earned capital from that action. And that's something that's possible in Web3. So I think like we're at the very early cusp of this kind of Cambrian explosion of, kids and anyone who want to curate NFTs being able to do that as something that's actually something you can earn money from. And it's like,
crazy.
So it's like, what Coinbase curates, that says something about a project and drives a huge amount of value to a project. What Sotheby's curates says something and drives value to a certain community. What Hypebeast could curate, like what is high snobiety, what like an Instagram profile or Jeff Staple curates, that says something and can add value. And now we have ways to capture it, which is kind of wild. And we're only just entering that chapter. So this is like a new phase we're heading into with NFTs.
Yeah,
but
now
the interesting part about this, Jeff, is that there's an analog to what you just said. You mentioned Amazon. So in the Web 2 world, a rough analogy to think about, and again, like technology cycles, a lot of people won't want to believe this if they're sort of like true believers on a jihad, but it's always history repeats itself, but it sort of rhymes rather than repeats. And with Amazon, look, the cycle is this: there's chaos, there's lots of tools, and then one service rises up and becomes that gatekeeper or that monolith. And then the next part of that cycle is that there are builders, engineers, designers who decide that they want to build Lego blocks so that people can take back control, independence, creative control, and those Lego blocks to build their own version of what they want to do. And so that happened with Amazon, right? Amazon became a bookstore and became an everything store. And then it became AWS, and then it became all these things and became this monolith. and then shop can exist and grow and thrive right next to Amazon. It's that sort of that phase 3 of a marketplace is happening even in crypto, right? So you think about a lot of the things that Zora is about, taking a protocol and then providing services on top of that protocol that are Lego blocks for you to be able to easily build your own version of a marketplace. I'm actually fascinated with Zora marketplaces that don't look like marketplaces, that when you go to them, it just looks like a cool community or a voice. And you see, creators and collectors and people interacting around music, art, film, fashion, ideas, but it doesn't necessarily look like a marketplace. It doesn't look like this sort of Amazon or even OpenSea interface, right? And so that to me is the power of bringing it back down to the protocol, because this is that part where this is that chapter in the story where we see an archetype of what works, but it's gate kept and centralized. So why don't we create more optionality, right? Centralized marketplaces will always exist. They will always exist because that's how society organizes. We organize around power laws, right? And so we want that community, we want that marketplace, but there's always a counterpoint which comes in that next phase, which is how do we have our own tools and our own Lego blocks to basically build our own version of what we've already seen as an archetype. And that to me is the exciting part about Zora and all the different companies out there. Bitsky, there's some really interesting companies. One that's built on Zora is Catalog, which is specifically doing this for music artists. And so if you think about it, these layers of these Lego blocks are building on top of each other, just like it did in Web 2 and Web 1.
Right. Hey, D, I want to talk about culture for a bit, because you're all of these people, creating, curating. How important is it for the community to be really involved? And how do you make sure that they stay invigorated and inspired?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think community is obviously the cat's out of the bag on this one. It's the secret sauce to any Web3 success story. It could be a DAO, it could be an NFT, PFP project, or anything like that. But having a rich community that's excited about having an ownership stake and a real interest in the success of the project, I think is getting crucial. I'm fortunate that I don't have to do all that by myself at Zora. We have an amazing team with Latasha as well as Mikhail, who help to drive a lot of our community programming. And I think what we've seen now is a really, really healthy and emerging set of creators from what a lot of the rest of the market may consider the long tail, whether that's a Halik Mall, a Niall Ashley, or any of the like. I think we're starting to see success stories come from these grassroots communities that are taking a lot of these tools, these picks and shovels, putting their own flavor to them, adding a lot of what is successful in mainstream culture to what is successful, not even mainstream, what's successful to the on the pulse culture, if you will, or the underground, the subcultures. They're able to communicate that in the NFT format in a way that's super authentic and successful. And I think it's resonating. And so having more or replicating more success stories of that nature has been something I'm super passionate about. I think having new verticals for people to participate in, right? If you're a musician, you need a music platform. You can't just drop on the smorgasbord that is the Amazon of OpenSea, or even right now, just on any Rarible or Zora homepage, you need a place for music, right? We saw that emerge through Web 2 progressions, right? And so having a catalog, having a sound, having a glass, these are all outlets now for people to really shine in their craft. And so I'm excited that we're seeing these verticals pop up, because it's making us, more attractive and approachable to the broader community of artists in the space.
Yeah, that was probably my gateway into this, because in street fashion and sneaker culture, it is also all about the community. If you remove the community thread off of that, you might as well just shop at Uniqlo and The Gap and Zara, right? But it's the community that makes the street culture, and that's what I really thought was interesting about NFTs and Web3.
I think it's super dope that NFTs have produced this new batch of success stories in crypto that can look eye to eye with a lot of the previous success stories in crypto, which are typically a bit more Giga Brain, really nerding out on the DeFi shit, right? And now it's oh, I just do cool art, and I also make 1,000 ETH, if you're lucky, right? But I think that level of it's a different type of success, you know, but they
Yeah.
have equal, or if not like as much influence as a lot of like the historical successors in our space.
Right.
And we're only kind of like 10, 13 years old. So like, it's really cool to kind of see this changing of the guard, if you will, that's happened as we've onboarded a bit more of like culture and humanities into the Web3 ecosystem.
Yeah. You know, I want to shift gears because you mentioned the word DAO, and I want to shift a little bit because the other thing that's really interesting to me, and it was always my dream of when I had a streetwear brand, where if I could take like my 100 biggest staple head fans and actually somehow allow them into the design room and into like the mind meld, that would be so amazing. But there wasn't really a way to do it, right? Like in the old world. But now, and Steve, you've been telling me about DAOs for like, I feel like the better part of a year and a half, and I still have like trying to wrap my head around it. But maybe if you could like explain your version again in layman terms of what a DAO is for those listening who are still just trying to wrap their head around it. If you're still there.
Yeah, he might have
Okay.
Yeah, he might have gone. I can explain it.
Why
you guys
don't Jacob
Okay.
go? And I want to hear a D too.
Okay.
And then I'll jump in.
Yeah, DAOs put simply, it's like, what happens when you put 1,000 internet strangers together with a shared bank account? And those 1,000 strangers might not be strangers. They might have some shared vision or goal or thing or passion that they want to do together. So that's like a fun way to visualize what a DAO is. Another way to think about a DAO is kind of like a crypto native version of a company, which is like, okay, how do we put crypto in a shared kind of account or wallet, and then how do we vote on how to collectively allocate and use the capital in that wallet? So it's like, okay, like, hey, we're a bunch of people that love collecting solely generative art. Let's put 500 ETH in a DAO, and then let's collectively vote on what art we want to buy together, as one example. Another example is like, okay, we're a new age form of like a rock band or something. Let's create a shared artist identity in the form of a DAO, and let's collectively mint like artworks and NFTs under that shared identity, and then trustlessly share the ETH produced from selling those sales.
Right.
And
well, that's the key.
Like,
you said trustless. Trustless is the key, because in the real world, if you put 1,000 people in a room and said, everyone determine how you're going to spend this money, someone's running out of the room with the money. Yeah, they all take the money.
Yeah,
exactly.
So crypto, exactly. DAOs kind of like create that context and use the kind of trustlessness of the blockchain to go, hey, we don't really know each other, but all we know is that we have some shared goal or purpose that we want to achieve. How can we pull our funds together and make sure that we can allocate these funds towards that shared goal or purpose, whatever that may be?
Yeah. Do you got anything to add? That was pretty bomb. That explanation was pretty dope.
It's hard to follow up, man. No, just kidding. I think kind of I would say self-organized and capitalized collectives in a nutshell. Best organized around like a single purpose, typically, or like some sort of mission. They're not the magical answer to solving like organizational issues or human coordination complexity, but they do work for gang moments with your friends and pulling off some pretty fun stunts.
Yeah, but the technology allows for, I mean, we made a joke about running out of the room with the money, but it is the technology that allows for everyone to put their guard down. You don't have to be like scared about who's the shyster, who's going to stab me in the back on this deal. Like, no, we are all really kumbaya into this together, and we get to make some real differences here. I mean, can you like reference some of the greatest ones that you've heard, like that have done some amazing things? Like what is a hallmark? Yeah,
there's a bunch
3, 2, 1,
really cool.
Nouns down.
There's Nouns down. I think the one that kind of captured headlines, maybe I don't know how long, 10 cryptos years, but 3 months ago was the Constitution DAO episode, where it was you had a whole group of people who pulled together $40 million of capital in the space of a few days to try and bid and win a copy of the Constitution at auction in Sotheby's. Like that kind of gives you a sense of like how quickly a community can form and how much capital they can pull together. Like that one definitely got headlines. I think on some like notable DAOs out in the space, there's Flamingo DAO, which is like a really famous collector DAO. Like they famously bought some alien punks very early, have collected some of the most like profound and prolific artists in the NFT space. with a very small amount of ETH, and now probably have like one of the biggest.
Or getting a poke stick tattoo in a dive bar restroom, but we're doing these one-on-ones before we launch our PFPs. So it's something we wanted to experiment with. I'm not sure if other people have taken that course, but we wanted to chime in to see if there were any people that can relate to this marketing tactic.
On my end, this is the first time that I hear of that marketing tactic. It sounds good. I didn't think of it. But this is the first time that I hear about it, and just trying to wrap my head around how I didn't think of that. It's because it is good. That's just my that's my 2 cents on it.
Oh yes. Thank you. I mean, it's very interesting. Oh no, go for it.
I said apologize. I'm here. You can go ahead and keep speaking. I just went outside. It's like in the middle. I'm like in the middle of a snowstorm. Just give me 1 second, but keep speaking.
Oh, no worries. We thought it would be an interesting marketing tactic because so much of our collection is autobiographical, and it also honors the community that raised us. So we wanted to showcase our queens in more elaborate settings so that people on our collection or people like new to Queens of the Night could understand the world a lot more, because we are in this for the long haul. This is not a quick flip, and we have such long-term goals that really flesh out the universe of Queens of the Night to really bring the disco and the debauchery and the hedonism to Web3. So we figured, why not do these one-of-ones first? Yeah, we're really stoked. We're really excited, as obviously you can hear from our crazy yelling in the car right now. But we're also here to make community. If you know my voice or Blake Shine's voice, it's because we host a Monday through Friday Twitter space called Bitches Love Blockchain, where we invite innovators from the field to talk about sex, drugs, obviously NFTs, and also blending the digital and the IRL, because so much of our roadmap has to do with that marriage of the two, whether it's through us doing live events locally in Los Angeles or in cities voted upon our Discord. And we're also opening up a dive bar microverse through JPEG Jam. So we really want to blend the tangible and the digital so that we can just continue to snowball this party.
All right, I'm sorry to ask you for this. Your original question, I was listening, but I didn't get the details on your question. Do you mind repeating that original question?
Not at all. So we are doing I think to be a pretty unique marketing tactic where we are releasing our 1500 Genesis collection on February 16th for our guest list. But the week prior, so beginning on Monday, we're releasing 5 days of one-of-ones with our queens in more elaborate animated settings. And those one-of-ones hit a week auction on OpenSea, and then that leads into the Genesis launch. So I was just wondering if anybody's heard of projects doing that, if that sounds like a unique way of garnering more attention, more of a community, just looking for feedback.
That idea is genius. And I've heard of people doing something similar. The details weren't the same, but people are doing things like that similar. And what you're doing is you're engaging people who are already in the community, and you're keeping your traffic flowing. Anything that can keep your traffic flowing, where you're keeping people engaged and you're checking up on what's going on. They want to be a part of what's happening first. Oh, so you got something new going on. Anytime you can always hit people with those creative ideas, you're going down the right path. So what you did it's great. It's dope. That's a dope idea.
Oh, thanks. That gives me some good encouragement going into this weekend hustle.
No problem. No problem. Did you have any other questions? But I really like the art. I like what you're doing. I'm going to try to tune into one of your spaces. I sent you a follow, and I'm definitely going to keep up.
Hell yes. Well, I'll shoot back down to listeners so I can continue to hear the platform. But thank you so much for bringing us up. It's really great meeting new faces in this scene. So thank you again.
No, we thank you. It's always good to meet like-minded people working on legit projects. Tell your girls, everybody here for NFTs for Freedom said, hey, have a safe trip on the road. Take some photos, get some videos. If I'm following you and I don't see a good video next week, I'm going to be mad.
Hey, noted.
All right. I want to go to our next speaker, um, Mobile Mason. Are you there?
I am. Can I get a mic check?
Yes.
1 2 1 2.
You
Perfect.
are. Your mic is going, but it's a little bit of noise in the background.
Is this a little better maybe?
Much.
Yeah. There we go. There we go.
Perfect. I'm also on a road trip in this like super loud old bus that I converted into an RV, so sometimes the audio is bad. But hey, I appreciate you guys bringing me up and giving me a voice. I just want to share a message. I was a little late to join the space, but I love this space and love all the speakers in here. So many dope projects. I just want to share with everyone that's here. Thank you for being here. You guys are super early, and I think it's important that as we are early to this space, to encourage long-mindedness in projects, respect for mental health. I think so many projects look to see founders executing stuff daily, and I think it's important to realize that we're all people behind the screen, and some of these things really take time. And invest in projects and people that you believe in and that you believe are here for the long term. As for projects and founders, respect that, people on your Discord or people behind their screens and reward them for being active in the community. And like you said, some of these giveaways and, 12-hour challenges to earn a whitelist spot is just, it's unfortunate to see. So that's my message, and thanks for giving me the time to say it.
Thank you for coming up and saying that. Sometimes when I say that, I know I'm not a hater, but it feels like I'm a hater. But I know I'm not a hater. But if you got me playing tricks and games to get on the whitelist and the giveaway over and over, and I never win, then I'm gonna feel like you played me. I'm gonna feel like, what did I do all that work for? Okay, a retweet isn't so bad, but spending hours and hours on your Discord, no, that's not really cool. I have a life. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not trying to throw fun in any projects that are doing that, but I think we all have a duty to push a higher standard of community engagement and just a higher standard within the space since we are so early and we're trying to bring people into it. So many people come here with the idea from TikTok or social media that they're gonna make 100x their money in a week of being here. And I hope you do. Honestly, I hope everyone does. But I think it's important to reset some of those standards and encourage that long-mindedness. So thank you.
If you don't mind me adding to this, because this is the first time that again, even though I've been studying the space for a while, I am very careful on the Discords that I join and the people that I follow and the projects that I try to mint and all that. Because me, myself, and again, I don't come from money. I don't have one of those like financial safety nets as other people do. So I'm very, very careful with what I click and who I follow, right? I haven't been in one of those discords where they make you jump through hoops as far as like, oh, you have to like do all of this before you can get onto the whitelist. And when I first initially started the whitelist process on my Discord, I have a total of 1,010 people that are going to be whitelisted total. The first bunch are people that purchased the tickets to my fight or purchased the shirt and they can prove that they purchased that in the real world. They're going to be getting whitelisted. I also reserved 555, and that way it's on a first come first serve, which is how I think it should be. As long as you join the Discord and you interact, at least say hi or something, let your presence be known, right? You can get whitelisted. It doesn't have to be this major thing that you have to be in there every day so many hours, but showing up and saying hi, you know, it's one way but it has to be like on a first come first serve. Like it can't be biased to anybody. It can't be, oh well, this other person came in after you, but it's first come first serve. You have to say hi. If you don't say hi, you don't get the OG status. But it shouldn't have to be like hoops that you have to jump through. You got me? And it should be specified at the beginning, because or else people are gonna leave, because
the main thing about Web3 is the transparency between the creator and those who are wanting to go into that world, right? It's just keep it simple and people are not going to leave. If you try to complicate it and people get confused or people are getting tired of having to play your mind games just for a whitelist, because you got to keep in mind, the whitelist doesn't mean that they automatically get the NFT. They still have to pay for it. So you have to make it as simple as possible for your consumers to be able to gravitate to you and then purchase what you're trying to sell. Because regardless of how good it is, the more hoops that you put, the less likely they are to jump through them. Maybe they'll jump through one, but not two, not three, not four.
Also, I mean, you can also provide them with discounts, right? Like, not just like on the whitelist. You were saying, Project, that you would be charging them, the same price as others. Whitelist can be a number of things. It can also just be a pre-sale. It can be cheaper prices than when it's live, right? It can be a number of different aspects. It doesn't have to just be, that one thing. And I really appreciate how Project's doing his, because he's not making you jump through hoops, right? He's being real, right? He's being down to earth, and that's what's going to get your project, to be liked, not to be, the bane of your existence. I hate Discord. I literally hate Discord.
So this is the thing, and at least this is my reasoning of wanting to go through Discord instead of other mediums, and it's because I am, at least me, with my project that's doing in real life, I'm able to create rooms for every state, and in each state have rooms for each individual gym that's located in that state. That way, if you are traveling from, for example, from Florida to Texas, and there's a gym in Texas, you're able to join a room in Texas and be able to meet somebody that's already there in a location of one of the gyms there, and you're able to connect with them and train when you go to Texas, or vice versa, or Cali, or New York, or Dubai, or Colombia, or Brazil. Regardless of where it is, there's going to be a channel for it, which is why I like Discord. But that's the main reason why I have Discord, is because that's going to be the end goal of the project, where everybody can communicate with everybody regardless of where you are in the world, right?
Well, I mean, Discord's also part of your just the natural roadmap at the moment, right? There's not many alternatives to build a very I guess connected community outside of Spaces, right? That's focused solely on your project and getting your fans out there and whatnot, and also promoting other projects. I see a lot of Discords,
correct,
and good on them, where they promote other projects. And I'll tell you all from experience, I've got much more followers on my project account just by promoting other projects, right? And I there's so many pieces to this pie, and if you are going to be selfish and you come off as selfish, you are not going to succeed. I'm sorry, but you need to uplift everyone, right? And when you see other projects, reach out to them, ask them if they need help. I talked to one person a week ago. I'm not going to name any names, but they were doing a project on their iPhone, right? And I'm like, man, your project, you want to succeed in this project, and he comes from a rough area and whatnot. And I shit you not, I bought him a laptop. And I'm not saying everyone go do that, but if you can do that, and you hear someone and you can see the passion in their voice and them wanting to grow in the NFT field, but they're being left behind because of their financial circumstances or where they are, or just the FUD they were growing up, they were raised in, right? Just bad luck, right? Like you didn't win the raffle, right? Do acts of kindness like that. Buy them a laptop. You know what I mean? Give them a chance to work on your project and learn. Like it's those little things that can change someone's life. What is $500 to me? I have a good job. I'm not trying to, boast or anything like that, but I'm not going to miss the $500 as much that I would have put into my 401k or something like that. Instead, I'm going and buying this person something that might change his life if his project works. Keep that in mind.
I want to add one more point on that. Kind of the counterpoint to encouraging long-mindedness is I see a lot of communities, hating on people that are flipping. And I think a lot of people are here to put food on their families' tables. And we need to respect that people are also trying to make a living off of this. And taking profits needs to be something that's also normalized. With that, I'm gonna hop back to listening. Thanks for letting me get on my soapbox.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
I think he dropped down. He just made a comment and then dropped down.
Yeah, I believe so too.
All right. I want to bring up mean emojis. Hey, I appreciate you for taking the time and waiting with us. I know you've been waiting for a while to come up and speak.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I've been listening in since early when it started. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about my project. It's called Mini Emojis. What we're doing is we're bringing the emojis into the metaverse. So we have a PFP collection coming. We just revealed the art, so we're pretty hyped about that. We hope you like it. We believe our art is extremely beautiful. We have 3D emojis. They are unique. We have unique combinations. So our idea is that you can own your own emoji. And then on a roadmap, we have a breeding system in place. So if you get an emoji from generation 0, which is this collection, you can combine them and breed them and generate a new emoji from the next generation, right? We also have a long-term vision where we want our emojis to be used in the metaverse in different products. So we're looking for partners and alliances. So think of it, you're in the metaverse, if in any of the social spaces within the metaverse, and you can use your own emoji as a reaction, right? So in the 3D space, you can spawn the emoji, the 3D emoji, and you can use it as a reaction, or we're gonna have different use cases. But again, so that's our long-term vision for the project. Yeah, so in general, that's what we want. We want to bring the emojis into the metaverse. We're using this collection as our foundation. So this is generation 0, the PFP project. And then, depending on how it goes, we're going to try to get to our vision. So we're bringing the emojis into the metaverse. And at the same time, we want to bring people into the digital world. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of underprivileged locations that don't even have access to internet, don't even have access to computers. So we're partnering with some organizations and foundations that their goal is to bring computers for education to students that, just like you were saying before, they don't have access to computers, and if you give them a computer, it's life-changing for them, right? So we want to bring the emojis into the metaverse, and we want to bring people into the digital world so that no one is left behind.
That's awesome. Can I comment on this, Sales? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, well, Sales, it's so.
Yeah,
I think it's a great idea, and I would love to see the future of it, because I'd love to see a kind of marketing collaborations where, like, because there's a lot of brands out there, and there's this new trend in kind of Web3 marketing and marketing in general, right? Where it's, you want a brand that you can tie an emoji to, right? Just a single emoji that you can tie a brand to. So having a brand name that has an emoji that's, when you see that emoji, you think of that brand, is a huge, it's free marketing, right? And it puts you out there. So it'd be interesting to see how your organization or company coordinates with other projects and is able to, maybe put a Bored Ape Yacht Club thing on a rocket ship, going to a moon or something like that. It'd be really, really cool to see that happening in the future, and I'm looking forward to that. One question I had for you was, you talked about you want to bring it to the metaverse. So is your company currently doing emojis outside of the metaverse, or stuff like that?
Yeah, so right now we're looking for partners. We have a team for the first collection. Once we hit our roadmap goal, we're going to expand the team. We have the emojis in 3D, so they are 3D ready.
Debit card and see how that works.
Yeah, a lot of us here are. We've been definitely waiting for that one.
Especially, I just wasn't sure. And Big T, I don't know if you heard, but like, have we heard if there's a limit to the sort of like ACH bill pay function of that, in terms of, let's say people want to pay their mortgage or something like that?
So from what I understand, there's no limits right now, but that could change with the white paper on the card that's set to come out when it's sent out. So, but from what I know right now, there is no limits on anything. Similar to the limits on USDC, because that's really the only thing that they could limit, right? And USDC right now, as it currently stands, has no limits whatsoever.
Got it. Yeah, but what we were talking about, guys, if you haven't heard, is that on Voyager there's a debit card that's coming out. Like it's taken forever to be released because of, I guess, Visa, MasterCard issues. But you get cashback rewards on it based on how much VGX token you have. I've been anticipating this damn thing for like the last, I don't know, like year. So I had VGX token since it was even cheaper than it is now. But if you have a certain amount of token, I think it's like 20,000, then the concept was you'd get up to 3% cash back on the debit card. Now that by itself is okay. Like it's not the most, it's not the best cashback reward in the universe. Like Crypto.com's card, you can get more theoretically, or by paying in a lot of Crow tokens and holding them. And then Coinbase has like a 4% paid in XLM or Graph tokens, which are kind of so-so. But anyway, you have this possibility on Coinbase and on Crypto.com. But what makes the Voyager one special is you've got your USDC that's sitting there waiting is also earning yield at anywhere between 9 to 10% or something like that. And again, since I have a lot of VGX tokens, I get the highest rate of APY on USDC. You guys remember what that number is? Is it 10% or
10.5?
Yeah, so 10.5% interest on USDC while it's sitting there, and then 3% cash back, which is paid, I believe, in VGX tokens on not only your debit card, but apparently also ACH related auto pay bill pays. So for example, if you got your mortgage riding on this thing or your car payment or whatever, because normally you can't pay those with your credit card normally, right? So you don't normally get cashback rewards. So, but if you have this tied into that, you're basically getting your mortgage paid or what have you, then you can then you're getting basically a 3% cashback reward in VGX tokens every time that you pay the mortgage or something. So this is like a new way to make cashback rewards that you weren't getting on anything else. That's what makes it kind of really, really sort of best in class, that one piece of it. And then you're getting that in VGX tokens, which then also earn 7% yield. But you have the option to convert that to something else. You have the option to just hold those and auto compound them, or you have the option to kind of collect more of them so that you're sort of dollar cost averaging into VGX, so you can raise your like membership level, because there's like 3 tiers, I think.
Yep, yeah. There's the Adventurer, Explorer, and Navigator. And guys, no bullshit. And this is straight. I mean, you guys know me. I'm a straight shooter. You can get into the loyalty program at a base tier for under $1,000, and you will recoup the cost of your initial investment under a year, just off of the 7% staking, and then the cash back when spending. So, not financial advice, but buy 500 VGX tokens for real.
Yeah, the minimum amount for sure. I would get. It makes sense. In fact, the second tier makes pretty good sense too. It's a third one that gets a little bit more expensive, but that's the funny thing. Like that's what I said about Crow too, when it was like a penny, and then like now it's 60 cents. So I probably should have got more of that one too, instead of overthinking it. Quite frankly, I was like, oh, do I really need to pay that much for a cashback debit card? And so I overthought it and didn't jump in when I really should have. But I think sort of VGX is cheap now, along with everything else. So it's a reasonable buy for the utility. That's kind of how I look at it. So, you don't have to go crazy with it, but, get enough for the utility, and that debit card will sort of pay itself back.
So real quick, guys, anybody that's interested in downloading the app, I put my referral code up top. And this goes for all the lunatics out there. Mind you, Luna by far is my biggest decentralized play. And then VGX is by far my largest centralized play. But if you download the application and trade $100, you'll get $25 in free Bitcoin. So make sure you utilize that code and we'll both get something out of it. But once again, if it makes sense to you and you hear what we're saying, guys, you should definitely get into the VLP. I mean, I'm a realist. I understand a lot of people are going to come into crypto via a centralized platform. And Voyager really is unique in comparison to any other centralized platform. They're working on adding DeFi capabilities into a centralized platform via the partnership with Avalanche. And it is a very, very young company. I mean, the platform only rolled out 2 years ago. And they are reaping havoc on the market, that's for sure.
T, it's funny. I got my tax form for the referral rewards. Did you get that yet?
No, I haven't. I'm not looking forward to looking at that because I had 40 something referrals just last month alone.
Wow, no kidding. You're like kicking ass. No, I actually got so like I had my promo code like posted in my profile on StockTwits, and I think the they were taxing me on they had gave me a 1099 essentially for that income, and it was for like $1,300 or something. That's not bad, huh? Like so like $1,300 in Bitcoin essentially. Not bad at all.
No, not at all. Yeah, I've probably gotten over $2,000 in just referrals alone, guys. I'm telling you, this loyalty program, I mean, is no joke. I mean, just even the cash back on trades. I know Voyager's raking it in as far as the spread goes, but if you look at the interest they pay and then look at the actual cash back on trades, I mean, I know people who are making, mind you, they're wealthy individuals, but $20,000 a month just back on the cash back on trades. So when you look at the overall loyalty program, it's utilized it how it's intended to be utilized, whatever best suits you. But I mean, there's money left and right. And then you start to get into like the arbitrage opportunities with the Voyager debit card with Luna. It's nuts. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I think with the yield I made on VGX coupled with the like whatever referral program awards and this and that, I'm pretty sure somewhere along the way any kind of fees I paid on the platform pretty much covered themselves, because so many coins that are on there don't normally earn yield elsewhere, right? Like just my Bitcoin yield alone pretty much covered like all of that and then some. So I don't know. The people talk about the spread and this and that, but I think that's fine. It's you want to sort of like think about the spread when you're buying things, but with that, yeah, with the VLP change where they give you VGX tokens for some of the spread, and then on top of that, the fact that you get a lot of interest yield on a lot of coins you don't get elsewhere. If you want access to those coins, you want sort of free interest on it. It's pretty nice. It covers it makes up for it in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you. We got a DAPA. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a question. I joined the first tier. I think it's called Adventure. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. And what's up,
Okay.
Adapa? How are you?
Yeah. Good to see you. But what Sefi was talking about, the debit card cashback. When does that reward kick in? Am I going to be eligible for that, or do I have to get up to the higher tier first?
Please tell me that you registered for this. Did you see the drop down debit card thing on the bottom of the app?
A long time ago.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, they're supposed to send them out in the next 2 to 4 weeks. They've already done beta testing on it, and they're actually sending the first.
Don't did Sefi say something about you only get the 3% if you're at a certain tier?
No, so the way it works, the Adventure, Explorer, and Navigator, the Adventure that you're at, you'll get 1% cash back on your debit card. So the Explorer will get 2, the Navigator gets 3.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So guys, I'm telling you.
Yeah, you mentioned 3%. I thought, oh, wait a minute, I must have missed out on something there.
For people who are larger net worth individuals, it would make sense. And from a business standpoint, it makes a hell of a lot of sense. Because think of the arbitrage opportunity if you have a Chase Sapphire or you have something that offers you better return. Imagine paying your bills on your credit card and then utilizing the debit card to pay your credit card. Now, you say you're getting 5% on your Chase Sapphire or whatever it is. Now you're arbing the 3% on the debit card.
I didn't even think about that. You're such a criminal, dude. I'm doing that.
Wait, so wait a minute. So I still use my Chase Sapphire Reserve card for charging expenses, and I just pay the credit card bill with this thing.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what I'm gonna do. That's pretty legit, actually. He's got a great point. So yeah, if they actually cover that, where you can just like do bill pay with it, that could be pretty awesome.
If anybody wants proof of this too, I'll go ahead and post a video up top and just tune into like the 9-minute mark where DJ Crypto's like, Steve, so you mean to tell us that we are going to have a auto bill pay section? This is live. Like there's no bullshit on this. He's like, you mean to tell us that we're going to have a bill pay option to where we can get the 3% cash back on our mortgages, car payments, utility bills? He's like, yep.
100 shares, and you think, well, I'm gonna, it's a low amount of money, but it's probably going to zero. Most of these are probably going to zero. I did want to chime in on the info on Amazon. A lot of their earnings, they own Rivian. I don't know if you're familiar with Rivian, but they own a substantial amount of Rivian. So Rivian IPO'd. And when Rivian IPO'd, it doubled or went from like 50 to 100. It did some crazy amount. Well, that's like 10 billion of their earnings last quarter. Well, now Rivian's gone down. So next quarter, when Amazon reports their earnings, they're going to take a loss. So if you're thinking about buying puts, the people that were telling you to buy puts, again, that's options. That's risky. But if you really want to buy some puts on Amazon, it'd be for the next earnings, for the next quarter, because that's when they're going to take the loss on Rivian, and they're going to have a big decrease in their earnings. My opinion, this is not investing advice. This is, but you can read their earnings report, and they laid it out. They made billions off of their stake in Rivian, and it's on paper because they own the shares, and so the shares went from 20 to 100 or whatever the increase in the value of Rivian is, and they own like hundreds of millions of shares. So, yeah, as far as social media, the only other thing I was going to chime in is like, if people are telling you to do something, they probably got something to sell. They're probably trying to make money. If I have a winning trade, I'm not telling anybody ahead of time. I'm not giving you that information, not for free. And I probably am not, talking about it much because I want to make the money. If everybody jumps in, I'm not going to make any money. So, kind of defeats the purpose. I think like the last one person was saying, a lot of that's on paper, a lot of that's fake, a lot of that's like trying to act like somebody made money, but they didn't really make money, or they play both sides like you were talking about. So, rarely would I, follow someone into a trade. I do think you can find people with good advice or good perspective to kind of tell you like, oh, this company looks like they're doing well. This company's not. It's overvalued. Then you just gonna have to kind of roll the dice on your own because, you know, trading or investing, that's like rolling the dice, and the odds of you making money every single day on every trade is kind of like going to the casino and hitting blackjack. You might win some, you're gonna lose some. If you can do better than 50%, I mean, you're beating most people. It's just a hard game.
Nah, most definitely. And I wanted to say this, Brian, just to go back on two of the things that you said. The first thing with options. Options is super risky. You feel me? And the problem with options, but everybody know, anybody that's made money off options, options can be super fucking lucrative. The problem with options is that we trade options like idiots. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it comes down to. When it came down to when we talking earnest is not a great option. I mean, strategy with options. Period. Point blank. It's an idiot move. You know what I'm saying? We already know that it's something that's already risky. We're adding even more risk to it. Like, that's stupid. Even if it goes your way, like I said, even when it goes your way, the stock going your way doesn't matter. You still can get clapped by IV. It's stupid to put yourself in that situation. I was an idiot today. That's first and foremost. Second thing with options, when he's saying like, yo, option can go to zero. All right, when AB was talking about the cashes and the candlesticks, when you're scalping or you day trading, especially when you getting a weekly, you have to understand, fuck the bigger move, because you didn't buy a contract for the bigger move. It doesn't make sense for the contract that you have. The contract that you have is for a quick move. It's cheap for a reason. You know, these contracts are going to expire worthless. You know, the theta is going to be super high. The value is not going to be on your side because you don't have time. Stop trading weeklies on some idiot shit. Get in, grab the money. You gotta literally think about it like robbing the bank, man. What's gonna happen? You ever see some bank robbers just sit there and wait on the cops? That's what you're doing if you holding a weekly. You sitting there and you waiting on the cops to goddamn lock your ass up. That's what you waiting on. And then next thing you know, when you down on that same contract, now you sad as fuck. Like, oh, I should have grabbed that. That was the whole point. You got your move. If the move was 20%, 30%, 10%, 50, 100, you got your move. Get the fuck out. Because you didn't get a contract where it makes sense for you to hold. When it comes to options, we can do this shit. Everybody that's listening right now, we all can take it to 7 figures, but we all have to stop doing dumb shit. We, Rico included, everybody, we have to stop doing dumb shit and we have to play this game to win, man. We have to play this game to win. It's certain strategies for everything that you do. I still think that even when they explain the straddle shit, that shit's still dumb as fuck to me. Fucking with earnings is just stupid to me. You know what I mean? So, but when it comes to making money every single day in the market, should you go in there intentionally saying, I mean, just really thinking that you can come in the market and make money every single day? No, that's another idiot move. You got to understand. I seen some cats talk about, yo, if your guru told you to sit on cash today, he's stupid. Are you fucking dumb? One of the guys that I follow. Now I know this guy he made 5 million last year, right? Off options, right? This dude been killing it damn near year to year. And he shows his P&L, all of that shit. He's literally been sitting out of the market telling people, I'm not trading today. I'm not trading today. I'm not trading today. And this guy is a hell of a trader, profitable trader, and he's doing his thing. I respect that dude even much more because somebody that ain't got nearly as much fucking money or any fucking money at all is simply telling you not to fucking sit a day out in the market when this guy is a fucking multimillionaire telling your ass to sit out. That's the shit that I'll be talking about. Don't be an idiot. He's not a fucking idiot. He understands that, look, the market is not in my favor right now. It's not doing what I wanted to do. It's not giving me the setup that I want. And 9 times out of 10, I'm going to fuck up and I'm going to fuck my money up. That's the way not to trade options as a fucking idiot. You know what I'm saying? Rico Lindsay, I've done a lot of idiotic shit in the market. Lot of stupid shit. You know, some of it was influence. Some of it was just my own doing. But every time I got my mind right and I'm simply focused on the goal and doing the right things and not trading like an idiot, you know, I run it up. And I show that every single time. I run it up every single time. So we have to stop doing stuff. We have to stop doing risky things and something that's already risky. Options is already risky. Why add more risk? When we talking about Lotto Friday and you know, all of that shit, these are all things we've all been a part of, all done. That shit is fucking stupid. Yo, you know how many people just go to the fucking gas station every day to get
You're watching Stock Market History. Thursday, the value of Facebook, that's Meta Platforms, dropped $251 billion. That is $250 billion, knocked off one company in one day. We've never seen anything like that before. Today, more history. The value of Amazon is up very roughly $200 billion. That's the biggest one-day loss and then the biggest one-day gain back to back. I leave it to the analysts to figure out why these two companies lost so quickly and so much. I'm interested in the political reaction. I think it's going to be negative. Mark Zuckerberg, who runs Facebook, is already unpopular. This gigantic loss will bring out the critics. He's running the company into the ditch. That's what they'll say. Time for him to go, and we don't like you anyway. A loss brings out your enemies. It doesn't make you friends. Nobody feels sorry for Zuckerberg. Jeff Bezos no longer runs Amazon, but he owns a big chunk of it. And today's big gain for the stock will make him even more fabulously wealthy. Did you see this? This is how rich he is. To get his mega yacht out of the harbor where it was built, he paid $40 million to have a 100-year-old bridge dismantled. It was blocking his $500 million, 400-foot-long yacht. I can just see Senators Warren and Sanders, and Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, and the squad all pouring out their contempt and anger on him. They will use it to press for tax hikes on the rich and the breakup of big tech. That's the politics of the financial history that we're living through. Facebook, $250 billion down. Amazon, nearly $250 billion up. The politicians are jumping all over it.
Today for the Bitcoin price. And yes, guys. This is literally a Bitcoin emergency. And if you're asking, why is it a Bitcoin emergency? Well, pull out your portfolio, go on CoinMarketCap, look at the Bitcoin chart, and you will know what I'm talking about. Now, the question, of course, with these crazy movements for Bitcoin is, are we going to go higher? What are the price targets? And what has ever happened since the last video, where I was talking about that the death course actually is serving for me, based on statistics and on history, as a counter indicator, which can be understood bullish. Right now, the Bitcoin price is, of course, crazy. And the most important question is, where is this going to end? Well, what I talked about is, if we are going to break these resistance levels, it is very likely that we are going up for another retest of the horizontal support as well. Bitcoin is just crushing through like crazy. And now I want to go onto the higher time frames and evaluate how likely is it that Bitcoin is going to break the 41 to 42,000 US dollar biggest resistance level here, the one from the from this horizontal resistance or support soon, hopefully, ever since the end of 2020, basically formed here this rectangle. And of course, now we have to evaluate how likely it is that Bitcoin is going to break it. So here, let me once again zoom out. Out and let's have a look. How many touch points did we have before? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 6 to 7 on the daily candles rejected attempts of breaking support or resistance. And of course, now the more often this one is going to be tested, the more likely it is to be broken. Now we are within the resistance area. And the question you are asking me probably is, if we are breaking with a daily candle above the resistance area, how high is the likelihood that we are actually going to reach these bullish price targets you were mentioning earlier? Well, let's have a look. Let's pull out, first of all, the most boring thing to evaluate whether this one is going to break and how high it is going to go. Before I continue and I talk about my price targets and my actual predictions on Bitcoin in the immediate short term, I would like to urge you for one thing. I was providing value in the beginning, and now I'm asking you, before I go into my price targets, please, if you find value in these kind of videos, I am pushing on top of the other videos, no matter where I am, no matter when I am, please be so kind, go down below, smash up the like button, share this video if you feel comfortable with it among your friends, and of course engage in the comment section, as I'm using this as a feedback mechanism. Please just engage as much as possible on this video. I would truly appreciate that. So now you can see, if I'm pulling over the measured price target, I have to put it here down below. Then you can see this price target alone already quoting a 44,500 US dollar Bitcoin. Once again, you have to remember that we need to very importantly break the 41, I would even go so far to the 42,000 US dollar area. This has to be broken, this has to be closed above. But, and now this is a very, very important question. Are there other measurement tools? Are there other potential scenarios or potential price targets we can take into consideration for our next trading moves for Bitcoin? The answer is yes. And for this, I would like to go over to the daily candles. As you know, the higher we go into the time frame, the higher the likelihood of this prophecy actually to come into fruition. So let me go over here into it. And before I start with this, I wanted to remind you, if you are a trader yourself, an experienced trader, very important, in the pinned comment and in the video description down below, you will find with a verified account here, pinned to the top. Don't fall for this scam account. It's very important. It has to look like this. A 10,000 US dollar free bonus. You can start with the Bybit bonus here by clicking the link, making your account, and after your initial deposit, it takes like 45 seconds or so to make these steps. You can get your initial deposit completely for free. Deposit bonus, sorry, with which you can actually trade, and with other profits from this trade as well. Now let's go here back into the charts and let's actually see what mechanism we can use to evaluate where our next price target is. Let's do that. And actually, I have this running gag, and I wanted to ask you, please, I have to go back here, so please, think about it. Do you remember how many people were laughing and spitting at us, actually, like ridiculing us? Almost we saw the spit in slow-mo flying out of their faces while they were laughing about us, actually quoting for the bullish scenarios where everyone is being bearish. Well, now you can see what is happening. And now I can tell you also what my next price targets are finally. But one important thing is this silence. Let me just not talk for a few seconds. This is the silence of the critiques. So that is, of course, very amazing to see. But just before you're popping the champagne bottles, please wait Bitcoin to break this resistance. Please wait for this. I'm with my own trades also waiting for it. So then the next price targets would be, for me, the 38.2, the $4,629 price target. And then very important, the very big chunks of the profits I would be taking on this position slash swing trade here on, just a second, on the Fibonacci Fibonacci golden pocket, and that is of course the $55,000 level roughly. I will take the profit slightly below to front run, of course, the bigger people. So that is what I am looking out for now for Bitcoin. Please guys, once again, especially towards the end of the video, engage with this video, share this video. I would truly appreciate that. And of course, it keeps me incentivized as I see I am reaching you guys, I am getting the audience, and I am pleasuring you with this content. It gives me the drive to make even more videos for you in the future. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We are going to see each other very soon at the next one of MM Crypto. You'll probably see it. I'm very tired already. I will go sleep now. Enjoy the night.
Hello guys, and welcome to the Moon. My name is Carl, and I'm going to bring you this cryptocurrency video, and I'm going to dive straight into the Bitcoin charts right now. Let me just do this. Here we go. So what we can see right now is that the Bitcoin price is breaking up closer and closer towards $41,000. And remember that 41 to 42K is the big level to watch. So even though we're seeing a bullish push right now, it is not enough to confirm a bullish breakout. And everyone knows that over on Twitter, my name is now the floor, and I told you guys that if we break back above 41.5, or actually, I think maybe even 42K, but yeah, let's say between 41 and 42K, somewhere there, I'm going to change my name back to the Moon. But right now, we are seeing the Bitcoin bulls pushing towards the upside. We're not seeing a lot of volume, but if we see more volume come in here, then it will be very exciting to see if we can finally break through the resistance. But, wait, let me just flip the screen. But yeah, so we need the volume. I made a video earlier today where I told you guys that if we do see a bullish breakout, we need the volume, because right now, if you look at the actually all time frames, the daily, the weekly, and even if in the 4 hourly, you can see that we're in a downtrend. The bears are in control, so the bulls really have a lot of proving to do. We really need to break through with big volume. And you let me know, guys, should I change my name back to the Moon as soon as we break above 42K or not? And if we do see any charts real quick, we need to break in. The bulls have a lot to do right now. So even though today could be the beginning of a bigger breakout, we need much, much more. I'm sorry to say it, but we are in a bear market on the daily time frame. It's just a fact. I cannot change that. You can't change that. I mean, I don't have 300,000 Bitcoin. But hey, maybe you have it. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a thumbs up down below if you enjoy these quick emergency videos. And if you also want to put in a long position, just like giveaway, which is insane. It's a $300,000 Casta giveaway. So then proceed with the giveaway process. But yeah, thank you so much for watching.
Hey, it's your host Sauce from the Viral Kingdom, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys an amazing tool which can auto-promote your NFT project using an auto-liker, auto-retweeter, auto-follower, and all of that good stuff on multiple different social media platforms, all without doing anything and relaxing back in your chair. The bot does all the work, and this can organically promote your social media pages for your NFT projects. Before we do get into that, if you guys could go down and leave a review to enjoy this channel, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, and a whole bunch more. In today's tutorial, we're going to be using Google Chrome just because that's the most popular browser that everyone uses. Another cool thing about this social media bot is that it's not restricted to one social media platform like all the other automated bots out there. You can use this on Twitter, TikTok, SoundCloud, LinkedIn, and Getter, and I'm sure they're probably going to add even more in the future. In today's tutorial, we're just going to be focusing on Twitter mostly and a little bit of TikTok just because SoundCloud, LinkedIn, Getter aren't really popular platforms for NFTs. So this can all be downloaded using the Chrome extension, which is linked on the PE Locks website. You can also just look up in the Chrome extension search bar for social media bot, and it'll be one of the first that comes up. So we're going to download this extension by adding to Chrome already. So once it's added, you'll be able to see all of this good stuff. And the best thing is that you don't need to give any of your passwords or emails to social media bot. So if you're wary about maybe getting scammed or getting your account hacked, don't be, because you don't have to sign into anything using the bot. You just have to have the extension opened. So we're first going to go onto Twitter and test it out. I have this test account right here that I use when I want to test out new bots using Twitter. It's just NFT retweets. I don't really do much with the account other than test bots, but we're going to open up that extension. And as you can see, it's already on the Twitter option. Now, if you want to change what the bot does, you can hit that settings tab, and there's just a million different settings that you can change around. I highly suggest not changing anything. And the reason is because these settings are here for a reason. They're set so that your account doesn't get soft banned. And if you don't know what a soft ban is, essentially it restricts you from using your account because it thinks you're using a bot. These settings will make it seem like it's just a regular person using the account, and your account will not get flagged. Additionally, if you're worried about your account getting deleted because you're using a bot, I can assure you Twitter will never delete an account for using a bot as long as you use these settings. I've only ever been soft banned on Twitter, and that was the max punishment they've ever given out. So the last thing I want to go over in the settings tab is that you can actually set the people that you don't want your account to auto follow or the people that you don't want to auto unfollow. This is really good when you don't want to auto unfollow like your own personal account. So we're going to go back onto Twitter and then just test this out. Already to start things off, we're just going to go to the Bored Ape Yacht Club official Twitter account, and we're going to go into their followers list. Then what we want to do is open up that extension in the top right, and it will bring up this tab right here. And if we're in that followers list, all we have to do is click this time clock right here, and this will automatically follow users in a cycle, and you can just keep this on in the background of your tab, and then you can do stuff on your computer while this is playing in the background. So we're going to click this timer right here, and it's going to follow everyone in this entire list, as you can see. And in the top right, you'll notice that it says follow one, and it followed this Pranksy person, and once this ticker goes all the way to the end, it will follow the next account. You notice it's kind of slow for you. You can change that in the settings like I was discussing earlier. However, if you do it too fast, so like if this bar is going like every single 5 seconds you're following someone, your account will be prone to getting temporary ban. That's why I highly suggest you don't change those settings. It will be a lot slower. It will take a lot more time to follow people, but it will ensure your account never gets temporary banned. So as you can see, we now have 3 people followed, and it will keep on doing this until we hit the max amount in our sessions. We had it set to, I believe it was 300. So once it hits 300 follows, this script will stop. Now we're just going to stop it at 4. And as you can see, it followed 4 people. And if you go to your account, you'll have those people followed. Now let's test out some other things. Let's go to the NFT hashtag, and let's go to the latest tab. Then what we're going to do is go to the extensions again, open up that social media bot, and we are going to do the like option. But we're going to hit this timer right here. And as you can see, it is now liking every single tweet in the hashtag NFT category. You can get away with liking a lot more tweets faster, and you won't get temporary banned as fast. So as you can see, we're already at 16 likes and counting. And like before, if you just want to end the script, all you have to do is click stop. Now, if you want to see the max clicks per session, we're going to change it to 10, and then we're going to do that like thing again. And at 10, it should stop the script. Bam, as you can see, we hit 10, it is now sleeping. It will wait this time, and then it will reset the session and do it all over again. As you can see, we already got a notification, and someone followed us. So it's really that easy, just because we liked a tweet. That is how you can get organic followers. And as you can see, this is not a bot account. Like, this is actually a legitimate account that someone uses, and we liked their tweet, and now they are following our account. This is such a successful way of organically growing your followers on social media and ensuring you're not getting bot followers and real people. And the best thing is that you're targeting people in the NFT community. So you're not just targeting random accounts that wouldn't be interested in NFTs. You're targeting the exact audience that you want. And for the retweets, they work the exact same way as everything else. Simply click it, and it will auto retweet everything within the session. The retweets are a little bit slower than the likes, but you can change that if you want. Highly suggest you don't. Just keep it how it is, just to ensure you're never going to get banned. But as you can see, it is retweeting these tweets. It's really that easy. Now for TikTok, you can literally do the exact same thing. Just find the NFT hashtag, open up the bot, and then you can go through and just auto like or auto follow accounts. And it's really that easy. I will say that Twitter is a lot more beneficial using this bot for if you're wanting to promote your NFT project, which if you're watching this video, that's what I'm assuming you're here for. There's not a whole lot of NFT projects that use TikTok to promote their collections, but hey, you could be a part of the new wave. But yeah, guys, that was just this showcase of social media bot auto clicker. I highly suggest going and checking it out and testing it for your own project to get some organic growth on your social media platforms. Everything that was in this video will be linked down below. And just proof, I've been recording this video for maybe 10 minutes now, and our notifications, we already have 5 from just retweeting, and we got 3 new followers and some retweets and likes. So really, this automation bot actually works and will get your collection out there. Well, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace. See ya later.
Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to ring that bell. Thank you for watching the video. And if you're a fan, subscribe if you can. Thank you for...
Bitcoin's price has dropped by 50% or so since the all-time high of $69,000 back in November, but Bitcoin holders don't care at all. What am I talking about? Well, what we can see is because Bitcoin is an open, transparent blockchain, we can see exactly what everyone is doing. And here's the Bitcoin balance on exchanges. This gray line is the actual price of Bitcoin. The gold line is exactly how much Bitcoin is on exchanges. And what you can see is that since the high in July of 2021, there has been more and more Bitcoin coming off of these exchanges. The reason why this is important is because the more Bitcoin on the exchange, the more likely people are to sell. But if you're taking the Bitcoin off the exchange, you're a long-term holder. You're accumulating. You're holding for the long term, and you are not looking to sell. And so regardless of Bitcoin's price going up or down, more and more Bitcoin has been coming off of exchanges for the last 8 months or so. Now we also can look at exactly what those long-term holders are doing. We can identify them on the blockchain. And what we see is that the total supply held by long-term holders has been increasing. Since about November, we've been holding very steady, even though Bitcoin has gone down about 50%. That's an important detail because the short-term holders are capitulating. They're selling to the long-term holders. But don't just take it from me. We've got this quote here, which comes from the folks over at Global Block. Marcus says, the percentage of Bitcoin on exchanges continues to decrease since the all-time high at $69,000. Glassnode shows that 42,900 Bitcoin has left exchanges. These indicators suggest that as the price has decreased by over 50% over the past few months, whales have been accumulating while short-term holders are capitulating. Now, of course, the transparent ledger of Bitcoin tells us a lot of information you wouldn't get in legacy markets. And what is important to realize is that the long-term holders, the veterans, the people who have been around, they're unfazed by 30, 40, 50% drawdowns in price. They realize this is a long-term game. Bitcoin is a game of accumulation. And the whales, the long-term holders, those strong hands, they have been accumulating aggressively since the all-time high. As Bitcoin falls, they continue to buy. As Bitcoin falls and the short-term holders keep selling, they get panicked. They get worried. They are in an uncertain environment. They simply are dumping their Bitcoin. Well, who the hell are they dumping it to? They're selling it right to the veterans. They're selling it to the long-term strong hands. And those Bitcoin whales, those people who have been around for a long time, are happy to buy your Bitcoin at a 30, 40, 50% decrease.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Stone Breezy, baby, coming to you live with another one. Another little video, baby. Hey, man, without further ado, we about to get to it. Right step outside, right here, bluesy. That's right, my people, let's go, baby. You see the animal farm. Hey, man, I know a lot of videos and all that out there, but you know your boy is the definitive answer, you know what I'm saying, to what's going on. You know, nothing matters until I put my input, my stamp on it. You understand what I'm saying? Now listen up. You over there, and you draw, digging your nose, you too. Listen, yeah, I appreciate it. Go wash your hands. Anyway, man, your price still going up at 487. I think 480 doing a watch that or something right now, but I don't need all that. That's for y'all new, because I don't need all that, man. Let's get to the info, baby, right to it. All right, so the animal farm launched yesterday, man. Now, here we go. 11 o'clock. I'm ready. I'm on it. I'm good. I'm all good. Ready to go. Got my USD. Got everything ready. I'm gonna quit the pool, drip, everything ready to go. All right, do the voice chat. Cool. 11:30, 12. I'm on there. 1, 1:30. All right, it's going well. 2. Hold on, be patient. 2:30. I started getting a little nervous around 3 o'clock, bro. 4 hours later, bro. I gotta keep it real. I started getting a little impatient around 3 o'clock, bro. 4 hours later. See the price still going up? Why you see it? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hey, man, hey, what's going on? That's about to messed up. What's going on now? Good to go, we ready to go. You know, now we working on it. But you gotta give Forex credit, man. The man is always working behind the scenes. Not gonna launch nothing if it ain't ready. Now let's get right to it, cause I got my little 2 cents on it. Now we're gonna get to the pig again. Now look, man, a farm of this magnitude takes a whole lot of work, bro. A lot of. You understand what I'm saying? So I gotta give credit where credit due. I thought it would be a whole lot more glitches, you know what I'm saying, when this thing launched. I really did. I'm not gonna lie, I really did, bro. But you gotta understand, let me show you. This thing got $285 million worth of liquidity. You know how many people trying to get that? You know what I'm saying? They try to, at every moment, somebody trying to get this liquidity up out of here. So you have to, your security gotta be on point, and then you got thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people crashing one server. The server gotta be on point, the dev gotta be on point to fix the UI issues and all that. So let's give Forex a round of applause, man, for, you know what I'm saying, keeping this thing above board. He have to take it down and work on it. He working on all this while it's still up. So we gotta give credit where credit due, man. Now, I was a little impatient myself. 4 hours later, yeah, hey, man, come on now, what's up? Make me nervous now, what's up? But we got it going. Now we're gonna go through it. The pig pen, this is what I got going on. I don't know what you got going on. This is what I got going on right now. So I got 244,000 in the pig pen right now. I got 1,500 in deals. I'm cool with that. Like I'm gonna keep saying this, I can take this out and sell it if I want it. That's the key between this and drip. You put your money in, you just get paid 1%, and that's it. But drip always my home base. I'm gonna have more in drip than anything. Always. It's always home base. But here we go. So I got 246,000 in here. 1,500 to get out. All I'm gonna do is harvest that USD and take it to the drip liberation and then put it in the farm. I'm gonna show you that in a minute. So I'm gonna do that with that right now. Let's keep going. What else I got going on? Let's go to the pool. I have 72,000 in the pool worth of dogs. Now I got in this late because I think it was paused or something. So I don't know if I got it late or not, but I think they paused the rewards or something. So I only got like $270 now. But I got 72,000 now. So I may take this out and just pair it and go into the BUSD form. I may do that. But I like this APR. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if the reward's not working or what. So I'm gonna wait and see. You know, you gotta be patient with this stuff. What is that price? What? Look at that price. What? Go on and sell. Look, man. I know you got in before $500. So if you scared or something, go on and sell. Get on out of here, bro. This ain't for you. Crypto ain't for you if you scared, bro. I'm just trying to tell you, man. The man sitting on millions of dollars ready to pump these guys. Like, do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? He only gonna reward the faithful, not those scary and weary. I want to be about to get the preacher. Anyway, so I got what 240,000 in the pig pen. Got another 72,000 over here. Let's go to the farm. See what I got going on. I'm in the dogs BUSD. I got another 129,000 up in here. So I got almost 7,000 in rewards right now. This ain't even 24 hours. It haven't even been 24 hours. I got almost 7,000 in rewards. So I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean, what you want me to say, bro? You know what I'm saying? This thing is paying. Dogs W BNB pool. Now I don't know what's up with this one. I guess I got it. I don't know. I got it yesterday. And I was doing some weird perky stuff. So I don't think it was enough liquidity. But that big old long APR. Boy, I know everybody. Let me see how much you got now. Let me see. 113,000. So I guess it's still kind of messing up. You know what I'm saying? But hey. I got it here, but I got 274. It was a test. I did a little test of that. You know what I'm saying? I got $274 in reward. So that's cool. But over here on the drip BUSD, I got another 82,000 in here. You see what I'm saying? That's over $500,000, bro. That's over $500,000 I got. Oh, look at that price. Look at that price still going up, baby. Still going up, man. Look, one thing I learned in crypto, you're not gonna please everybody, bro. You just not. So, hey, man, you see that price going up? I think hit like $900 yesterday. I'm like, well, I might need to jump on that, but you know, sorry, that's all good. But now look, so I'm in the drip BUSD pool. I got 82,000 in here. I got almost 3,000 in rewards right now. So that's what? That's $10,000 right now. Without the pig pen and the dog staking. So, bro, you have to understand this thing pays 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Period. You can take your money and run whenever you get ready. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you want. Now all I'm gonna do, this is my strategy. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take these pigs. I'm gonna harvest these pigs. I'll probably get that one now. Harvest these pigs and put them back in the pig pen. You'll see on my next video. I got 500 even. You'll see that keep going up. Cause I'm gonna take that and put it in here to earn BUSD. Cause I'm gonna take this BUSD and put it right in the drip liberation. Let me show you. I'll do it right now. My computer's slow. Popped up this time. All right. What? I gotta update or something? Oh, here we go. I spoke too soon. Look at that price, 513. Your boy, good luck, man. I'm trying to take 513. So we're just gonna take this here. It's free money, man. Free money. I'm just gonna take the little 1,500, put it right over in drip liberation. I ain't got to sell nothing. I ain't got to do nothing. It's BUSD, bro. I don't understand how people don't understand that. It's BUSD. All right, let's see if it's in my wallet, though. That's what it counts. I'm almost up to 206,000. All right, let's go to drip liberation. I'm telling you, hey, I do what I say, man. There you go. Bam. Wait a minute. What's something? What is that? Where'd that come from? I forgot it. What I had before. I can't even tell me what in my wallet. Why be having one all over the place? Where'd that come from? Anyway, I'm going to do that too. Well, all right, you going in there do the whole thing. Well, that's another problem, too. Guys, when you got these long numbers after the dot, these long numbers, take some of that off, bro. That's why some of y'all stuff don't go through. It's not going to read all that, man. Take some of all that off. And to be honest with you, I just like to use whole numbers. I don't even like to use nothing past the period. You know what I'm saying? I just use whole numbers. With that 17,240, let's do it, baby. Don't put it. Come on. Give me my drip. Drip is king. Drip will always be king. Give me another 413. I'm gonna say that a million times. Drip will always be king. Bro, look at that price, 523. Hey, man, it's gonna be a glorious ride to the top, baby. Hey, I try to tell you. So you have to get liquidity pool tokens. All I'm gonna do is take them over to the farm, to the drip BUSD, add it to that, and just keep stacking every day. It ain't even been 24 hours, guys. I'm just trying to help you out, man. See the people, they already sell, but they saying, oh, let me sell. Sell. Do. Hey, I ain't gonna get nobody. If that's what you want to do it. I'm not here to tell nobody to stay at nothing. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So something happening and go down. Hey, I just lost $500,000. I just go somewhere in the corner and cry. Ain't nobody gonna give me no tissue. Anyway, man. So that's that right there. I want to wait for this confirmation. Let's go back to the farms. Come on. There we go. Now, come on. Look at the TV. About to hit 300 million. You gonna be on the sideline? Well, hey, I'm trying to tell you. So I think I'm gonna harvest this first. I'm gonna harvest this first because if I don't know that, that might go away somewhere. Always get your rewards first, then add to get your reward first. I'm just here to try to help you, man. Get your reward first, then add to your thing. It might just automatically, ain't no fugazi going on. But I'm here to tell you, man. Get your reward first, then add to the pot. So, hey, man, look at Animal Farm is launched. It was a little slow on the draw. Forex, so make sure things are happening behind the scenes. You see that price going up on the pig token. You get pigs and rewards, so your rewards automatically go up. All you're doing is taking it, putting it in the pig pen. It's just like drip. Just like drip go up. You see that your deposit amount go up. That's money you ain't even put in there. You get paid on money you ain't even put in there. Just like pigs. I'm putting that in the pig pen. I ain't putting money now, but I'm gonna add it to it and get paid on it. Get the BUSD reward. You see what I'm saying? Just like this drip BUSD. That's free money I just got from the pig pen. I told you that in my earlier video what I was gonna do. I'm not gonna add this free money I got from the pig pen. Damn, I should have cleared that out. Like I said, I hope it goes through. But I'm just gonna add that little bit to it and get paid on. Look at the price, boy. 540. Just since I've been on, bro. Anyway, man. So you see my thought process of what I'm doing. I'm gonna go back and get these pigs, add them to that, and put in the pig pen. You'll see my progress on every video, bro. So Animal Farm is launched. I'm liking it so far. I got no problem. Some people have issues, with the liquidity or trying to swap it over, whatever. Hey, man, what do you want me to say? I'm not tech support. I'm here for the money. I don't know what to tell you. You come knocking on my door, bro. I'm here for the money. I'm not tech support. Those are the guys that think they smarter than everybody else. Actually, what's going on? But anyway, man. So that's my thoughts on it, man. You see the price keep going up. I'm here. I'm the voice of reason. I'm here for the people. We're gonna make this bread. We're gonna make this money. We'll get this pig token. Like the video. Holla at your boy. Like the video right now.
Hi, this is Danielle Cambone, and welcome back to StandsForInvestor.com. Last year, when most investors were watching their stocks plummet, one Wall Street legend had an unfair advantage that was identifying winning stocks with massive upside, like Riot Blockchain before it shot up 10,000%, Digital Turbine before it shot up 789%. overstock before it shot up over 1,000%. This power gauge comes from the legendary Mark Chaikin. And right now you can get a free in-depth look at how his power gauge system works. A way to type in any of the 4,000 different tickers and see exactly where the stock is most likely to go next in any type of market. Simply go to powergaugetrial.com for your free look. Again, that's powergaugetrial.com for your free look. All right, let's get to our segment today. Hi, this is Daniela Camboni, and welcome back to StansberryResearch.com. When my next guest is on, I never really know where the conversation is going to head, but I can guarantee you this: it's never boring, it's never dull, it's never short of controversial. Please welcome back to the show, Gerald Celente, trends forecaster, the publisher behind the popular magazine, The Trends Journal. Gerald, my friend, welcome back. Always good to see you.
Oh, it's always great being on with you. Thank you so much, Daniela.
Well, I have to have you on. As you know, there are no shortage of hot current events. You've been tweeting and writing a lot. And I just came back from Canada, and I think you know where I'm going to go with this. Let's start and talk about the Freedom Convoy, which is what the truckers call themselves, which has formed as a response to vaccine mandated for truckers in order to cross borders between Canada and the United States. As you know, this is a topic that has, people say it's united Canada, but I could also argue it has divided Canada, because we have those who obviously are supporting the truckers, saying this is a fight for freedom, and a lot of left-wing media coming out saying, no, there's a bunch of radicals, racists at these events, and if you side with them, you're a racist too. Thoughts on what's going on in Canada with the truckers here, Gerald?
Well, first of all, I applaud them because they're fighting up for freedom. And as you know, I started a church called the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace, and Justice. If you want to get the vaccination, fine, get it. It's your freedom. If you believe you shouldn't get it, fine, it's your freedom. No more. I'll tell you what to do. I'm in charge over here. You have no freedom. I'm the governor, I'm the mayor, I'm the president, chancellor, prime minister, whatever you want to call it in any country near you. So the people say, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to take the Operation Warp Speed gene therapy inoculation, first ever injected into the human body. I'm healthy, I'm not getting it. And now you have a guy like Trudeau calling these people out, calling them racist, this and that. Let's get this straight, all right? He's saying that the truckers are endangering the health of the people because they don't want to get vaccinated. Now, what am I, 6 years old? This guy is fully vaccinated and boosted. His kids are fully vaccinated and boosted. Everybody he's around is fully vaccinated and boosted. And now he's claiming his kids got the virus and he got the virus. So why am I getting the vaccination? Well, I'll tell you why I'm getting the vaccination, because I'm telling you to get the vaccination. So going back to the protests. Again, I follow this very deeply. I'm reading the media is coming out on one side. They're telling, how disgraceful all of this is, because what you have are several tens of thousands of people in Ottawa. Oh, and somebody peed on a statue? What are you talking about? Oh, how about, oh, no, they were trying to get food from a homeless shelter? Come on.
So to that point, because Trudeau came out with a quote there, so CNN was portraying it as, they ransacked the homeless, like you said, someone peed on a statue. Trudeau, in response, said, I want to be very clear. We are not intimidated by those who hurl insults and abuse at small business workers and steal food from the homeless. We won't give in to those who fly racist flags. We won't cave to those who engage in vandalism or dishonor the memory of our veterans. But I pulled this out for you. This is a tweet that he wrote in 2020, which has resurfaced, okay? While many of us are working from home, there are others who aren't able to do that, like the truck drivers who are working day and night to make sure our shelves are stocked. So when you can, please hashtag thank a trucker for everything they're doing and help them however you can.
He's a fraud just like the rest of them. They're going after a couple of little things when you got tens of thousands of people. Look at these people freezing in the ice cold out there, doing what they can to fight for freedom, and this is what they do. There was a thing called the Battle of Seattle back in 1999. Most people never heard of it. They had a World Trade Organization meeting in Seattle, and they were protesting about bringing China into the World Trade Organization. 40,000 people took to the streets peacefully. And all of a sudden, you see these guys dressed up in black, smashing windows, breaking a couple of things, burning a car, throwing a Molotov cocktail. That was the news. That was the news. We warned, I've been talking to the people involved in this. I said, be careful. They're going to use agents provocateurs and tiny little things to discredit the whole movement. They do it all the time. And there are no more journalists out there.
So on that note, let's talk about escalating tensions between Ukraine and Russia that every day is changing now. I mean, the latest, President Vladimir Putin has now signaled that he's open to a diplomatic resolution, but at the same time, the United States in the next few days will deploy 3,000 more troops to Romania, Poland, and Germany. So first of all, do you believe Putin when he says he's open to a resolution, or is he just saying this to appease the situation for now? I mean, how do you see Ukraine, Russia playing out?
Why would I believe Putin? I mean, look what he said. That guy Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction and ties to Al-Qaeda. Let's go into Iraq, even though it's based on lies, and kill 1 million people. Why would I believe Putin? How many countries has Russia invaded? How many bases? What does America have? What is that, like 700 bases or something in 80 countries or something like that? They had me hating Russia as a little kid. They had me hiding under a desk in case an atom bomb went off. The Cold War has never ended. It's enriching the military-industrial complex. This is our Trends Journal. You see that?
Yep.
Spring 2014. Washington confronts Russia with a strategic threat. Washington's coup in Ukraine brought not only a threat to the Russian population in Ukraine, but also a direct threat to Russia itself. The Russian government got in the way of Washington's march to hegemony by blocking Obama's military invasion of Syria and producing a diplomatic solution to the Iranian enrichment of uranium for nuclear energy. Washington concluded that Russia needed to be confronted or distracted by problems that would leave Russian government less confident or be able to counter Russia's aggression elsewhere. Ukraine presented the perfect opportunity for Washington to advance its agenda. You ready? In a speech at the National Press Club last December, this is 2013, Assistant Secretary of State Victoria Nuland boasted that Washington had invested $5 billion in non-government organizations, NGOs, in Ukraine. Allegedly, the purpose of the NGOs was, quote, this is her quote, to teach democracy. However, Ukraine had democracy. In reality, the NGO organizations are fifth columns that could be used to organize protests. Again, people overlooked, we did this in detail, overlooked the important facts that modern day Ukraine, for about 200 years, Ukraine was part of the Russian Empire, on, and we go all the details about how Ukraine, under Yanukovych, which was democratically elected, they wanted to bring him into the EU. Ukraine needed money. They were in problems. They were going to go into the EU, and then Putin made him a better deal, both in gas and lending money, and that's when the coup began. People forget this. Again, this is detail, page after page after page, with just facts. And here's a quote from Putin. The Americans tell us the fantastic lie that the purpose of American missile bases in Poland is to protect Europe from non-existing Iranian ICBMs. The Americans changed their war doctrine to elevate their nuclear weapons from a retaliatory deterrent to a preemptive first strike. It goes on and on and on. Again, the deal was clear in paper, and it was between Gorbachev and Reagan and George Bush Sr. that when the Soviet Union broke up, NATO would not expand beyond where they were already, and now they're all surrounding Russia. What if Canada was filled with Russians and Mexico had a Chinese army down there? Oh, America would be happy as can be. I'm a warrior for the Prince of Peace. I've had enough of these wars. And where are all the religions? Not a peep from the Pope, not a peep from the Muslims, the Jews, any religions about, we need peace. Stop this war talk. Stop this war talk. Oh, the Afghan war wasn't good enough for you? Oh, I know. You love the Yemen war. Only the worst humanitarian crisis on earth. Oh, and the United States, under Biden, under Trump, under Obama, supported the Yemen war by bringing, the Secretary of State Blinken was down there when it began, supplying them with billions of dollars worth of armaments to slaughter people. Where's the talk for peace? Again, getting the morons riled up about something they know nothing about. When all else fails, they take you to war.
Well, Gerald, if I have to wrap this conversation, I would have to say, look, it's clear we're living in unprecedented times. We've spoken about this, in depth in other episodes. There's obviously no certainty here. So how, we always go back to this, protecting yourself, right? And if there's a lot of asset classes you can choose from, including equities, bonds, cash, crypto. We've spoken about your best picks. Is it still gold, crypto?
Yeah, gold, to me, gold, GSP, gold, silver, and Bitcoin. I want a safe haven asset. They've been knocking Bitcoin. Yeah. Still, what is it? We're talking about $38,000 a coin. Started from nothing. So I think the NFTs are gone. That's .com baloney to me. They're going to raise interest rates dramatically. They're going to stop inflation. And they're going to do what they did under the Reagan administration. They killed the economy when they raised interest rates, 18% or something. Stop the economy. But then before the election in 1984, they started lowering them dramatically and they had a big boost. The GDP boost that you just saw in America was the biggest since then, back in 1984. So they're going to do the same thing. They're going to slow down the economy, but they're going to lower interest rates and they're going to boost it back up. But in the meantime, the economy's going to go down hard.
Right. I'm following that chain of thought you're on. Let me ask you this. When you say they're going to raise rates dramatically, what's dramatic?
Well, dramatic compared to what they've done. Probably not enough to really make a change. To me, it has to be about a 1.5 to 2%. I would
think. There's some experts saying you need, a 0.5 percentage to start clipping back on inflation, but I would think it would have to be more at this point here.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Again, it has to be around 2%, 1.5 to 2%.
So the market, the market now pricing in, since Powell's come out with a stronger talk against inflation, instead of 4 interest rate hikes, we may see 5. Does it make a difference at this point?
Yeah. Again, let's go back to Powell now. Let's go put this into perspective. This is the clown that was either stupid or lying going back a year ago, saying it was temporary. And then it was transitory. So they were either too stupid to know it was happening, or they were lying about it. To me, they were lying about it. And they were lying about it because they got to keep this cheap money flowing into the system to artificially prop it up. By the way, when interest rates go up, to me, you're going to see the commercial real estate sector dive because you have an office occupancy rate of, I think nationally it's only around 40%. Even if it goes back up to 60, 80%, you're still losing 20. But I don't see a real estate collapse. I see prices going down, but not a collapse.
I wanted to bring this up when you mentioned Bitcoin because you and I never spoke about this. I had Max Kaiser on recently, and as you know, he's a friend of yours. He's looking to move to El Salvador. El Salvador has fully embraced Bitcoin. What do you think of that movement? Other countries following suit that will embrace Bitcoin as their reserve currency. Is that a trend you're seeing?
No, I don't see that happening. I see some countries doing it. And by the way, I've made this very clear with the whole Bitcoin going back several years. What's going to kill the cryptocurrencies, if anything kills it, is government action to stop it. And the reason the governments are all going to go digital, just like they're doing in China with the yuan, and that was the first one that blew out Bitcoin. That's where all the mining used to be done, is because the government wants to get everything digital so they know every penny you spent, where you spent it, what you spent it on, how you spent it, so they can get what they call tax revenues, because politicians never work. They need your money. So they're going to go digital. And when they go digital, they're going to ban competition. And if people don't think the government has the power to do that, it's not ancient history. Go back to 1933 in America when FDR said, you can't hold gold anymore. You got to bring it back to the government. We're going to buy it from you for $22 a change. And then once we get it all, we're going to raise the price to $33. All right? Don't do anything they want. So to me, the danger in that is that's the big danger. When governments take control, that's what's going to drive down the price.
And on that point, Gerald, how far away do you think we are from, a Fed coin, whatever you want coin here in the U.S.?
I don't know, but they're going to do it as quickly as they can, as secretly as they can. And
within a decade, do you think?
Oh, definitely. I would say definitely within a decade. I was even thinking within years.
Excelente. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Come back soon.
Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for watching. We'll have more great content coming your way, so be sure to stay tuned to StansberryResearch.com. And don't forget, premier content you can't get anywhere else. You got to sign up, DanielaCambone.com. Thanks so much for watching.
Opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the contributor and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Stansberry Research, its parent company, or affiliates.
What's going on, guys? It's KW here with What's going going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your weekend. Today, we actually have Bitcoin finally making an attempt to break out of this downtrend that has been going on for about 3 months. So before we get too excited, is it time to celebrate? In yesterday's video, we had spoke about this descending, broadening wedge, and this was usually the type of reversal pattern you look for in markets. Now, I was not anticipating an attempt at a breakout this soon. I thought we would have maybe a few more retests, but inevitably, we are attempting to break out of it today as I'm making this video. So is this just a bull trap? Is it nothing to be getting excited over, or is this actually something we should be paying attention to? I want to look at that chart. I also want to talk about some historical data for Bitcoin that does give us some hints as to where the price could be heading for the remainder of this year. And one other thing that we need to pay attention to is the fact that the dollar has actually been pumping for over a year, but you can see right here, it is in fact starting to hit a bit of resistance. So could the DXY be looking to actually correct downwards, and is this the moment that we've all been waiting for? So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you are not subscribed, definitely consider it, and obviously we need to talk about this because this is happening live right now. So you guys can see clearly that we've been held down multiple times by this resistance that's essentially been resistance since we had the top where Bitcoin was almost at $70,000, and currently, if we actually zoom in and have a look right here, you can see that we have in fact broken out of this. Now, the reason I'm saying not to get too excited immediately is because we are still being held down right below this blue zone territory, and this is very, very important levels for us to break through. In fact, the most important level is essentially where we hit right around this $41,600 top that we had back in January of last year, and you can see that we're not really at those levels yet. So until we break above roughly that $41,600 level, that gets us midway through this blue zone. I don't know if we should be getting too excited, but it is definitely interesting. So, funny story. So I'm over, just doing my crypto research in the morning, and it says, there's this article from Finbold that says Bitcoin shows signs of an upside reversal, historical data suggests. So, I'm scrolling down here just having a look, and all of a sudden, I realized that it's actually me talking about what we talked about in yesterday's video. So this is crazy. I was not anticipating on being in the news. Usually I report the news. So shout out to Finbold. Thank you so much for, featuring my analysis. This is incredible. No pressure, right? No pressure. Now everybody's looking at it. But in all sincerity, what we were talking about, and I did actually add this line today. You can see there has been a little bit of an upward trend. So I guess that kind of signaled that we could have had the breakout, although we did fall below it. But ultimately, what I was looking at was this descending broadening wedge. You can see every time that the moves are getting bigger and bigger. Now I was suggesting the bearish bullish scenario, if that makes any sense. Essentially saying, maybe we come down here, freak out all the investors, come down to 28,000 before revisiting and having that breakout. But I mean, it looks like today we're attempting to have that breakout. So I don't know if this is a real breakout, if this is the one that we were waiting for. I was not anticipating on it happening this fast. I'll be the first one to admit it. But if we can actually stay above this level, and look at exactly where we are having that resistance too. Right here, where Bitcoin dropped and we had this little mini capitulation, right there at that level, you can even see the resistance that was built here, the resistance all through this level. We kept trying to break up, and we are in fact sitting again below it. So we haven't really broken above that key level just yet. But the fact that the bulls are stepping in, and not to mention, on top of it, we do have a day in which the S&P is falling. So we had the S&P down yesterday, and we had the S&P down today at the time that I'm making this video. But yet Bitcoin has been putting in some sort of bullish morning price action, which is very, very interesting to say the least. Now, what I wanted to talk about specifically, what I have been talking about specifically, is the fact that we have been supported by these legacy spider lines. And you can see, obviously, I've kept this blue zone here so we can all see the area that we need to get above. To totally 100% get out of this area, you're looking at around $42,600 for Bitcoin, which sort of coincides with what I've been saying, but you can see that we have had this very, very beautiful support. And if you look below me right here, you can actually see that this RSI that was clearly showing Bitcoin was incredibly oversold. In fact, I can show you the exact level where we broke out. So we ended up breaking out right here around July 20th of 2021, right here. And you can see that that essentially marked the final bottom move for Bitcoin. And if I actually put where we have broken out of it right now, you can see that this was actually, a few days ago, but it is emulating sort of what we saw back here. So this doesn't necessarily mean that, it's just going to pump to the moon today. Keep in mind, we are heading into the weekend, and we know that the weekend price action for Bitcoin usually can get completely invalidated come Monday. So I'm not going to, take it too seriously what happens over the next few days. But if we do look at this, historical RSI being oversold, and the moment that we did break the downtrend, it usually was followed by a very big Bitcoin move. So in yesterday's video, we were talking about these legacy trends, and you can see that they do coincide. We have this one starting at the peak where Bitcoin hit around 13,500. This was in June of 2019. And if we also go way back here to the absolute peak of 2017, and we follow these lines out, you can see that there has been confluence. Look, there was this resistance right here, little resistance. We came down, retested it, came down again. This is where both of the, both of these legacy spider lines intersected. We had two very nice bounces there, and now we are having a bounce off of this other one as well. So as I said, the structure is holding. So for people that are saying, this is totally bearish for Bitcoin, this is terrible. I mean, ultimately, guys, if you just look at it very, very simply, Bitcoin is putting in higher highs and it's putting in higher lows. So this is showing us that the macro trend, the overall trend for Bitcoin, if you zoom out, is in fact continuing to the upside. And I did point out the similarities between the super guppy chart like we had back here and then the major capitulation that we had back in March of 2020. And you can see that they coincided with this blue, and then the blue turned into the red. But like I said, you don't have to necessarily get the red on the super guppy. That just, the red essentially shows you massive, massive capitulation. Have we had that yet? I don't know. It could get worse. But I can tell you right now that all of these signs are lining up, showing us that we are putting in potentially a giant double bottom right here, right? So this is very, very bullish. Double bottoms are often reversal patterns, and the fact that we have stayed above the 100 and every around it. And at the end of the day, you need to be looking into not financial advice, but some type of hard money asset. And for me, that's always been Bitcoin. Some people say gold. For me, it's Bitcoin. I believe, short term, things can get crazy. Long term, we know where this is heading. And one other thing I wanted to point out too, obviously be careful if this is in fact a, bull trap, but you can see that this 21 exponential on the daily has been a very important
level that we usually talk about. We kind of stopped talking about it for a while only because we were just in this consistent downtrend. The only time that we really had this little fake out was right here, at the end of last year. But generally speaking, for example, if we are going to have that confluence with this area, with the RSI right here, you can see that as soon as we broke above it, Bitcoin essentially went up from the end of July all the way until September of 2021. So if we do have a similar situation right here, and you can see right now, we're not like blasting through it, but we are attempting to break above it. This could honestly signal the beginning of the reversal. But I don't want to get too optimistic because we do still have the possibility of a fake out. It is heading into the weekend. Right here we did have this fake out, right? You could have got really excited. Oh, it was testing it as support, and then it fell below it anyway, right? So you really, really want to see multiple days, if not even a week, staying above this level, and that would be amazing for Bitcoin. Now, I want to give a massive shout out to Tech Dev for sort of breaking down the market structures. This is the historical data that I wanted to point out. So he says, in this previous thing, you had two macro impulses and one macro correction. Date the 0.618 top target of the next leg confluent with macro 0.618 from 2011. Strong asymmetry to the upside. I believe this impulse is far from done. And you can basically see how he breaks down the structures of the previous cycles. You can see that we are looking at these lengthening cycles as we did mention. But you can see you have the 0.618 right up in this area. That puts us right around the $200,000 level. And I did say in this is my previous video, but if you go back and you watch the video where we were looking at the Fibonacci levels, I don't have the chart pulled up right now. We had done a live calculation. We did it live. And we found that based on diminishing returns, looking at these levels when Bitcoin breaks through it, we could see Bitcoin hitting as high as $190,000 at the peak. And he puts this peak sometime just before the end of this year. So we could be seeing, maybe Bitcoin even go sideways. We could have a little bit of muddy waters in the middle. But ultimately, this level, if we do look at it, puts us at around $200,000 Bitcoin by the end of this year, which is only $10,000 off of what we were looking at. So this is why you can see that it wouldn't make sense for the cycle to be completely over. And as I already told you, but I will give a shout out to Will Clemente, he does point out that we've had 2 months of persistent spot premium over derivatives for Bitcoin. So this is something definitely worth noting. The other thing that we need to point out is the fact that the dollar index has been pumping. You can see essentially since right down here of January of last year. So we've basically been pumping for over a year. However, right now we have started to hit this resistance. You can see it formed right here. You just take these two lines, you extend it out, and then right here we have resistance. Right here, dollar had a bit of a fake out resistance. And it looks like, again, we're not only having resistance at this level, but if we take this level back even farther, we can see right in this area has provided a very important level for the dollar, right? It was resistance down here, then it became support, and over here, you can see that we're having that confluence acting as resistance, not only from the downward sloping trend, but also from the horizontal trend as well. So I do realize that I draw all over these charts. I get really excited, I make them messy, but hopefully you guys can understand what I'm trying to show you in these charts. And, just before we move on any farther, if you have 2 minutes of your life and you want to really truly understand just how crazy $30 trillion worth of debt is, Wall Street Silver actually ended up putting this visualization. And I think you guys should watch this. If you want to skip past it, but definitely a little bit mind-blowing. So when you break it down, and now that you've seen that insane visual of just how many physical dollars it would take to really show you what 30 trillion in debt is, let's look at the Bitcoin versus global assets. This is from 21 Bitcoin app. Now you can see down here, this is Bitcoin, and they have Bitcoin valued at 1 trillion. We know that today it's actually sitting even lower than that. So this little dot down here represents Bitcoin, and this little dot is actually even smaller today because we have fallen down from the level. So here we have gold, we have agricultural land, 35 trillion, you have commercial real estate, 33 trillion, equities, 109, top 100 fiat currencies, 122, debt securities, 123, and residential real estate at 258 trillion. And this doesn't even talk about every single possible aspect of, the M2 money supply, the whatever chart you want to look at. I mean, we've gone over this on the channel. So if you can't visualize the possibility of inevitably what I believe is going to happen, I believe that this little guy down here is going to turn into the giant Pac-Man and is going to end up eating a lot of this, especially from this gold market cap right here. So we are in fact early. Oh wait guys, but you know what? Breaking news from India. You ready? In a recently published interview, India's financial secretary told Outlook magazine that a cryptocurrency ban could still be on the table. He also said that taxing cryptocurrencies will not necessarily make them regulated, reiterating that clarification provided by the finance minister. I think today I am done reporting on India. Make up your mind, India. Are you for it? Are you against it? Can you trade it? Can you tax it? What's going on here? Can you really tax something that's not legal? I don't really know how that works. So that is it for the Indian news for me. Unless we have some insane news, I'm over it. I'm done. This has been going on for 2 years. Let's move on to the big news. So Nintendo hints that it is interested in NFTs and the Metaverse. According to senior analyst at MST Financial David Gibson, they said, this is from Nintendo, we do have interest in this area. We feel the potential in this area, but we wonder what joy we can provide in this area, and this is difficult to define right now. But nevertheless, you are seeing the growth of interest in the NFT space. Not too sure what's going on with the Metaverse right now. I know Facebook's having a little bit of a tough time, but you will notice that attendees of Super Bowl 56 will receive a souvenir NFT along with their ticket as part of a partnership between the NFL and Ticketmaster. The NFL, or these NFTs, excuse me, are going to essentially, be like virtual ticket stubs. I guess that's kind of like what they are. They say collecting ticket stubs has always been something our fans love to do, especially for the season's biggest game, and offering customized Super Bowl NFTs allows us an opportunity to enhance the game day experience. So obviously it is not going anywhere, guys. I've been saying that these times of boringness, of sideways, downwards action, are the moments that you need to seize, right? Smart money buys when the fear is high, right? And we can obviously tell that we have been on this downtrend for a while. And yeah, I mean, just right here on this 4-hour candle, you can actually see that we are in fact trying to break out. And yeah, personally, guys, I think if Bitcoin can get above this level right here, above that $41,600 level, it doesn't 100% get us out of like the water just yet, but it does start to make things look a lot more bullish than they have looked for the past 3 months. So thanks so much for coming back to the channel. Once again, shout out to Finbold. This was so cool. I'm in the news. I feel like a celebrity.
Altcoins are really wanting to break out of their shells, break out of their downtrends. Many have been performing better than BTC, and it gets even better for altcoins when you expand out the time frame. Over the past week, 7 days, over 50% of the altcoins in the top 100, 53 of them in an altcoin-focused video, just might Synthetics chart over the past 7 days, SNX moves. Well, I'm going to try to Chainlink, as I believe Link was going on the airwaves, talk about staking, and he dropped news that it was coming this year in 2022.
This is something that we are planning to release, or a version of this is planning to be released in this coming year. We do plan to see staking and staking rewards being made possible this coming year, and now that we have reached a certain level of profitability for some of the Oracle networks in the Chainlink set of networks, we feel that it's a good time to do this.
Well, Sergey was actually interviewed around that same time by Decrypt, and they put out an article regarding Chainlink staking, and Timo.eth on Twitter covered what the article said when it came out. He said, Chainlink staking is ready, it's audited, currently in testnet, and will launch in the first half of 2022. Although Decrypt edited the article and took out all of that juicy information, but Timo and a David Miller caught screenshots of the article before completed. Now, under the section, these are commonly referred to as a penalty and deposit contracts. These fill their accepted tasks. Back in 2019, those weren't Reek at Treek2101 on Twitter tweeted that article and snippet and said, 2 years later, the two main aspects of the Chainlink software are complete. Now, staking can be released anytime. Anytime, although a certain something needs to happen first before Chainlink staking can be released. And this release is so underrated and just might be as big as staking. Sergey told us what in that talk.
In the coming year, in order to create these new services and these new categories of activity that will jumpstart entirely new and innovative uses for smart contracts, there are 3 key initiatives that are being planned for the Chainlink network and that are being planned for the coming year. Those key initiatives are the release of CCIP, the release of staking, and the solidification of Chainlink as an abstraction layer for enterprises.
Before the staking release comes the CCIP release, aka the Chainlink Cross-Chain Interoperability Protocol. Now, CCIP can be described as a secure cross-chain messaging protocol, which allows the free flow of tokens from blockchain to blockchain or layer 2s through programmable token bridges. And this allows the creation of cross-chain dApps. So when is CCIP dropping for the go live? Well, in my opinion, it looks to be very soon. Now, if we go to the introduction blog post from Chainlink about CCIP, they had an infographic showing it working across a dApp ecosystem. As we can see, the dApps with logos shown were Celsius and Aave. Well, going to Chainlink God's Twitter, he's one of the biggest researchers and ambassadors of Chainlink in the space. We can see he is retweeting some suspicious things recently. A Tomyuk.eth saying Aave testing, with a picture of Aave working across blockchains and layer 2s, Ethereum, Polygon, Arbitrum, Avalanche, Harmony 1, Phantom, and Optimism. Then just below that, he retweeted the Aave Twitter talking about the first cross-chain governance proposal updating the Aave market. And if we dive into the thread, there is a piece on the cross-chain governance bridge. Could this be using CCIP? Now, what about Celsius? The intro blog showed them utilizing the CCIP. Well, Celsius has something big coming called Celsius X, which is the DeFi arm of the Celsius network. Now, Alex Mashinsky, founder of Celsius, tweeted this last week. Excited about Celsius Network and Celsius X DeFi. Big launch this coming Tuesday. You think you know what it is? Well, yesterday was Tuesday, and we didn't hear anything about a big launch. Was there a delay on the release? Could it have been CCIP integration? Well, within Celsius X documentation, they talk of full decentralization for Celsius X and say the end goal for wrapped assets is decentralized access, where a user can deposit and withdraw on the native chain and would have the tokens minted and burned on target chains. This process requires the target chains to know which address to mint for, which Chainlink will provide with their cross-chain interoperability protocol. CCIP around the corner? Then staking? Chico thinks so. But there is another big release coming for an altcoin I haven't talked about in a bit, but I'm still hodling strong. But before we get into that big coming release, it's time for a sponsored segment of this video, brought to you by the team at Router Protocol. And like always, the details of our agreement can be found in the description. Just a few days ago, Router Protocol successfully initiated their much anticipated alpha mainnet launch. Now, what is Router? Well, it's an extensible multi-directional bridge that connects current and emerging layer 1 and layer 2 blockchains to allow contract level data to flow across them. Simply put, they're a state-of-the-art multi-chain bridge solution that offers more than simply bridging assets across blockchains. In fact, I did a full project review in a previous video a couple weeks ago, and you can reference that to learn even more. But today we're covering the exciting stuff, their hype launch and why it matters. Router Protocol's alpha mainnet launch currently supports the Polygon and BSC networks, for which bridging assets between these two chains has thus far been notoriously inefficient. Existing bridge solutions, although having come a long way, suffer from critical issues limiting their capacity to grow and evolve alongside the fast-changing DeFi landscape. But not Router Protocol. They designed their infrastructure to do more. They're built for DeFi functions like cross-chain lending and liquidity migration, also cross-chain multi-sig wallets and cross-chain limit orders. These functions are all coming, but they've already changed the game with their alpha mainnet in its current iteration. Right now, users can bridge any asset between Polygon and BSC, and more than that, users can even swap any two tokens of their choosing across both networks. Transactions are seamless, only taking 40 to 120 seconds, and the UI is intuitive and easy to use and follow, and transaction costs are much lower than the legacy bridges. Router also provides flexibility in fees, allowing users the option to pay using the Route token, making fees even cheaper. The DeFi sector currently exceeds $1 trillion, consisting of more than 5,000 cryptocurrencies across multiple networks, and it's ever growing. With Polygon and BSC alone, they see more than 20,000 daily transactions and $600 million in daily volume. Thus, the cross-chain infrastructure market is massive. Router Protocol has an elevated approach to cross-chain solutions, has positioned themselves to become a major player in the space, beginning with a much-needed upgrade to the existing Polygon BSC infrastructure. Polygon co-founder Sandeep even expressed his own excitement for Router's Router's much anticipated launch by sharing his thoughts in a recent tweet. Today we're celebrating Router's mainnet launch and their early success, although the team is hard at work already preparing for future upgrades and expansions. Expect to see integrations with more EVM compatible blockchains like Avalanche and Phantom, as well as compatibility with non-EVM networks like Solana and Terra in the near future. Router also has plans to release a comprehensive cross-chain explorer to provide users more transparency and confidence while making their swaps. So make sure to visit. Well, community, I'm bringing that update that just might tie into some pretty big things. Just a month and a half ago, December 15th, Intel released their first words on the Metaverse. Raja Koduri, Vice President and Git Gud, more powerful, real-time, Mr. and Bell. iExec AI just released a video explaining something that's coming. Public worker pools. Public pools where you can monetize your computing resources and pool them together to power things. Let's watch now.
In today's interconnected world, everyone has value to share. As technology continues to innovate exponentially, the need for computing resources is greater than ever. By opening a decentralized marketplace for computing assets, iExec resolves this critical need in the growing digital economy. Now you can share decentralized computing power. Innovative applications, valuable datasets, and much more. Using an emerging technology called confidential computing, assets traded on the marketplace can now be used on any computer connected to the network, even the ones you do not know or trust. At the same time, ownership and privacy of those assets is preserved.
This is being released this year. Public worker pools to monetize your computing resources. Is it possible Intel and partners will leverage it to help power their metaverses? Well, only time will tell, but I'm guessing that that could be the case. But don't put your money where my mouth is. DYOR. Do your own research. Cheers. I'll see you next time.
Clarity needs to be made of how different things are operating in the farm. People need to understand how this works. And then it's going to allow people to be more bullish, right? So we're going to have Mighty Leader break some things down. We're going to learn more about the operations of the farm. Carry massive amounts of millions of dollars of liquidity into the animal farm and then be able to have ownership in a decentralized farm. You're not going to get this opportunity anywhere, right? Not to mention the prices of the pig token and the dog token mooned initially. So you actually had an opportunity, if you wanted to get out at that point, to make back everything that you made in the pre-sale plus profit. If you wanted to, the opportunity was there. If you didn't take it, if you're shaking in your knees, right? If you're scared money, you had an opportunity to get out, but you didn't. So we here, right? And I know myself, so I'm thinking less selfishly, right? I didn't want to dump on everybody in the manor farm. I wanted to make sure that we kept this thing bullish because the animal farm is an opportunity of a lifetime. Us being able to have ownership in a decentralized.
I don't know. I haven't seen any with higher numbers, but I would suspect some of them have higher numbers because it's easy to add, bots and fake accounts and stuff. But we haven't done that once, and we started out with like 25,000 members in here before launch. Now after launch, we have 61,000. It's amazing. Our growth is crazy. So it's gonna take some time for people to come in. We give it
And let's get things cleaned up so that way we address everybody's issues.
So there is one issue. There's one issue that I know about, and it's a simple UI issue that doesn't really affect anything. Our auditors said that it would probably be a good idea. Nothing unexpected happened on that end, so it's great, and we could have went without a limit. But this was just an additional safety protocol to put a spend limit on the DOGS token as far as how much BUSD from the deposit fees it can use to add liquidity. And the way we chose that limit was by looking at how much TVL we got over the whole 2 weeks of the Manor Farm, which was slightly under 100 million. And we thought, all right, then we'll put the limit at 100 million. So, because we expected to get way over 100 million, but we figured immediately at launch we probably wouldn't get as much as we got over the whole life of the Manor Farm. So we figured that would be a good limit to set, and then we would raise it or remove the limit.
Just released a video explaining something that's coming. Public worker pools.
After launch, after we saw everything was smooth. Well, we got something crazy like 300 million TVL immediately at launch. And what that did was it took us over the spend limit of BUSD. So BUSD, every transaction has a 3% tax that goes down to liquidity. It gets that BUSD from a percentage of the deposit fees, and it had more BUSD than it was allowed to spend. And this made the token contract go, all right, well, I'm not allowed to spend this BUSD. So what that did was it started to essentially cause some transactions to fail. So we noticed some transactions were failing. So we paused the dog tokens, and we knew it was going to be the spend limit, but just to be extra diligent, we went over everything, and that took a few hours.
My mic was fucked up.
So we went over everything. We determined, all right, it was just the spend limit issue. We took that spend limit off. We unpaused the dog token, and now everything's smooth, 100% as expected. So that was the only issue yesterday with the dog token. So it was more so it was hitting a limitation that we put on as a safety protocol, and we took off that limit because that was only a safety protocol that was important at launch, just in case something unexpected happened. Nothing unexpected happened, so we raised that limit, and now the dog token and everything is just running perfectly as designed. Now, this is where the work starts. We have, currently right now, millions of dollars that we put aside from the rep sale to do buybacks. Right now, we could 2x the tokens from the capital we have in buybacks alone. So we have a ton of capital right now put aside for buybacks. That's not including all the cake we generated from the collateral rehypothecation, which is huge, and it's not including the dog token, which is doing buybacks, but the way that the limitation works is we could call it to do buybacks when we wanted to. So we have a ton of capital built up right now, billions and billions of dollars ready to go with buybacks. And if people were around for the Rev launch, they'll know that Rev did about 20x. This is the Mana farm, the 2-week farm. It did 20x. It then had a correction of about 50%. And then we went and broke all-time highs and did another like 20 or 30x. And the only thing that stopped it from continuing to move up was that it was a 2-week protocol. We designed it to only last 2 weeks, so we could then capture those millions of dollars and migrate them over to L2, the animal farm. Now we're on the animal farm. Now we have those millions of dollars to execute, and the setup looks exactly like how Rev set up on the Mana farm. You know, the big pump, the 40% correction, and now you can see now that it's making very clear bottom signals. It's starting to pump again. So I'm extremely, extremely positive and confident in our performance. We got more TVL than I expected, because I was just basing my projections based on what we did with the Mana farm. Clearly, there was a ton of people that were not in the Mana farm that were ready to go with the Animal farm. We have a 3% commission on referrals, so we have a ton of participants now. That's going to that's going to play out, and a ton more people coming on. People are going to be filling their referral links and getting other people to join. And now it's time to start putting this marketing budget to work. So we already have deals with DappRadar and Dex Tools. RugDoc, we specifically didn't want to verify our contracts until after launch because we had anti-bot protocols in there, and we didn't want to risk sharing these anti-bot protocols even with RugDoc or even with our auditors, because you never know, right? Like, as much as we trust these people, this is about trustless. Like, the DeFi crypto is about trustless. So we didn't want to put the trust in anyone else that there would, that they would see our anti-bot protocols and then try to exploit them. So we kept the contracts unverified until after launch. Now they're verified. Now we're gonna hit up RugDoc, get the RugDoc review. We're gonna release our audits because we kept the audits in it as well, simply due to the fact that we had anti-bot measures built into the contracts and we didn't want to make those public before launch. And you see how well they worked, right? It took a bit of time, but millions of dollars came in from those bots ready to buy. And if we didn't have those anti-bot measures, what would have happened is those bots would have executed about $3 million worth of capital at the listing price. All the other buyers would have came in after it. That would have, 40, 50x that 3.5 million, and those bots would have dumped on the market, reducing everybody's value by 95+%. So I know it took an extra couple hours, but we rescued, 95% of the investors' funds by doing that. And there's not a lot of projects out there that would be willing to spend, 2 hours on a launch process to ensure the safety of the investor capital. Mostly because I'm sure they would feel like, oh, well, we're going to take some hype away from our launch, or people are going to get restless and leave, or, it's just not possible to combat all these bots. But we were determined. And clearly, based on the performance, the TVL, the community was behind us. So I'm extremely grateful for that. People realized what we were doing. And because they stuck with us and they were completely on board and still like 8 in at launch, they were able to aim in safely. And they didn't get their capital wrecked from bots. So we're very, very happy with how the launch went. Of course, it was a little bumpy due to the dog token, but that was 100% us being diligent and putting in security measures that enacted because our TVL was much higher than we expected. So I'll say it one more time just because there's like twice the amount of people here when I first explained it. We put limitations on the amount of BUSD from the deposit fees the dog token could spend. The dog token spends BUSD from the TVL to add liquidity. 3% of every dog transaction is paired with BUSD from the deposit fees and used to both buy back the dog token and add liquidity to the dog token. We put in a security limitation to ensure if something went wrong, the dog token would end up spending all of the deposit fees on adding liquidity. We knew it wouldn't, but it was just an extra security measure just to limit its ability to spend. Because it's always good to put limitations on, if you have some sort of spending in your contracts where you're giving approval for the contract to spend, it's always good to put some limitations on that. Just in case something unexpected happens, it won't go crazy and it's limited to the amount that it can spend. So we put those limitations on, and we put those limitations on based on the TVL we got from the Mana farm. So the Mana farm went for 2 weeks and got slightly under 100 million TVL. So we figured, all right, if it took 2 weeks to get slightly under 100 million TVL in the Mana farm, we'll set the spending limit for the dog token slightly over the 100 million TVL, and that should be fine. Well, we launch, we get about 300 million TVL. So it created way more deposit fees than expected, and that took us over the limit for what the dog token was allowed to spend. When it went over the limit, the security protocol kicked in, and it essentially froze the dog token. So this is why the single asset staking on dogs, this is why some dogs transactions were failing yesterday. So we paused it. We spent a couple hours going over everything just to be 100% sure that it was this limit that was causing the transactions to fail. We determined that it was that. So we took off that limit because we knew by that point that the dog token was working correctly as far as how it was spending that TVL. And then we unpaused it, and since that was the only issue, it just went right up to running full steam ahead. And since then, and we know from all the audits and all the testing we did, no issues at all. Everything is running 100% as designed, which is perfect. There's one slight UI issue where when someone deposits into the dog's BNB pool, it says that they have less than what they actually deposited. This is just a UI issue that I just need to make a small change to it that will adjust. So other than that, everything is running amazing. Other than that small UI issue, which will be adjusted as soon as I get off the call. The reason for that UI issue, I know I probably shouldn't get into all the how the sausages are made here, but you guys are intelligent, so I think it's best to just share everything. Yesterday, when we went live, the dogs wrapped BNB APY had a couple extra decimals on it. So if it was supposed to be 130, it's at 130,000, right? So because we had the issue with dogs and all this stuff going on, we didn't want to spend a bunch of time on a small UI issue. So we just moved the decimal places over a couple. That solved the APY issue, and then we moved on to doing other things. That made it so when you deposit wrapped BNB dogs, it says that you have less than you actually deposited. But that's a very small UI issue that we just need to tweak. And that's it. Other than that, everything on the UI is working. All the contracts are working exactly as designed, and we have millions of dollars right now ready to go for buybacks and for marketing and to inject into the Pigpen. So we can. So right now the Pigpen has 1.917 or 1.9 million, let's just say, to pay out. we have another about 4 million to inject into it. So that alone is gonna 4 or 5x the payout, the daily payout in the dogs token in BUSD. And then every time someone does a deposit onto the farm, 30% of that deposit fee is made immediately available to people in the pigpen, and the rest, the other 70%, goes into the vault to increase this BUSD vault. So we're just getting started. If anybody was in the beta farm, they know that we did we about 4 times or we did about 6 times actually, about 6 times our TVL in the first 12 days about. So I expect us to outperform that. That means that our payouts in the pigpen would increase by 6 times. We also have the BUSD that we migrated over from L1, which will compound that by another 4 times. And then we have all of the instant payouts that are going to be generated from new capital coming in. So expect the payouts in the pigpen to increase by somewhere around 9 to 12x. And on top of that, 30% of that will be instantly paid out to those in the pigpen. So we're just getting started, right? We have a ton of marketing coming up. We have a ton of capital being generated in the form of cake right now that we're going to use for buybacks. And we have enough capital for buybacks right now to 2x the tokens, like dog and pigs. We have enough from what we migrated over from L1 to more than 2x pigs, and then we've generated a bunch of cake as well. That when you combine what we generated in cake, what was put aside from deposit fees, what was put aside from L1, we can 2x both tokens right now. And that's not a one-time thing, because this is regenerated capital that goes to the buybacks, because we're constantly earning it in the back end from the capital that's staked in the rehypothecation contract, which is earning 30 to 40% APY on PancakeSwap right now. So as we speak, we're generating capital for buybacks, and we have a ton of capital that's put aside for buybacks. And the TVL itself is generating BUSD rewards for the pigpen. So I would say expect about a 8 to 12x increase in BUSD payouts from the pigpen. I would say expect. Actually, I don't want to give a limitation on TVL, because if I had done that for launch, I would have said, yeah, we'll probably get around 100 million, 150 million in TVL, and I would have been wrong by a factor of 2x. So I'm not even going to go there saying what to expect in TVL, because we're only going to get stronger. And everybody needs to understand that this is your farm, right? You get just as much capital in the farm. Actually, you get more capital in this farm for being an owner than I do, right? We have a 10% dev fee on deposit fees. So out of this 4 to 6% deposit fee, 10% of that goes to developers. Other than that, the whole other 90% goes to paying out the pig stakers. So everybody in here has a greater share ownership and is rewarded for having a greater share ownership than even I do as a developer. So understand that, and treat this thing like it's your project. Get out there, promote it. Let people know how we are setting a new standard. We have the only yield farm lending protocol that allows you to earn and grow your capital and grow your net worth as a participant while you're leveraging it through lending and living off the dividends and compounding the dividends of BUSD. There's no other protocol in DeFi or even a traditional market that allow you to earn like this. And this is how the super wealthy earn their capital. So really, this is your time to take advantage of that and operate as an owner, right? So have the sense of pride as an owner. It's not like you didn't take risk to get in here. It's not like you didn't take the kind of risk that an owner takes. So understand that and make the most of it. The referral bonuses alone, really, whether people have a sense of feeling of ownership or not, they want to get out there and show the referral link. So that alone is going to, help put in the work. But plenty of studies have shown that when people have a sense of ownership in something, in a business, whether you give them a piece of equity in the business or they get a share of the revenue that's earned by the business, their performance goes way up because they know that they're working for something. They know that their work directly results in a tangible benefit to them, both in payout and in the sustainability of their ability to grow the system. And you truly have that in the MMG farm. And this is the first protocol that allows you to have that kind of ownership. So it's extremely exciting. We have so much more to grow. If you look at what Rev Token did, we launched, we made a big move. We had like a 30 to 40% correction. We spent like a day or two putting in a type of bottom pattern, and then we did another 20-30x. And the day that we closed it down, so we could migrate over to the animal farm, it was hitting all-time highs. It would have kept going if we didn't put the brakes on it to capture the capital to come on over here. I expect us to take that performance and blow it away. And if anybody is wondering why I would think that, we have better mechanics. We have and when I say better mechanics, I probably should say that I should probably go into what those better mechanics are. We have the dynamic emission rates. We have the renewable BUSD payouts instead of just a one-time collection of BUSD that happened from the Meta farm. We're earning a ton, like 3 times more capital on the back end through our rehypothecation, which goes directly to buying the dog and pig tokens off the market. We have way more users, right? We had like 4,000 users in the Meta farm in our Telegram group. We have over 60,000 now in this group. The growth is insane. And we have, like I said, from the amount of capital we have put aside already right now, enough to both 2x the dog and pig tokens and 12x the payouts in the pigpen. When I say that, I'm including the some of the projections, right? So it's extremely exciting, guys. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for putting up with the delays that we had at launch. I know you understand the reason why we had those delays were for security reasons. For one, to prevent the bots from end up draining 90+% of the capital, right? And there's no other project that I know of that was able to take $3 million that otherwise would have went to draining 95+% of the capital from investors that bought it at launch, and instead turned that around to having to be an extra $3.5 million of locked liquidity. Right? There's no other project that has done that.
Yeah, so I was saying that during stream like the entire time that this dude turned around $3 million that bots were using. But with that, innovation story, tinderbox, storytelling, and managing expectations. I'm gonna put that on watch later. Like some Gary V stuff. Day after 80,000 deposited in the Animal Farm. Stankmouth Charlie. Watch that later. And this dude is in that AMA, which is happening on Twitter Spaces right now. But with that, I'm gonna end stream. Come back with some gameplay. We're gonna probably be playing some Halo today. Working on fun stuff. Oh, and Lynn Alden is on Stansberry Research. Always like to hear what she has to say. Very well educated on financial systems, legacy finance, all that type of stuff. So like to hear that stuff. Why president rating is dropping? Because nobody wanted him as president anyways. Like, why are we surprised? All right. See you guys in the next one. Smurf out.